So, Dave, what do you call me this week? Dave. Oh, God. Not again. Dave. Dave. Oh, where's Dave?
Hey, what's the problem?
Dave?
Yeah, I'm right here. I was only getting a cup of tea.
Dave.
The face that runs the place.
Long live living.
Goodbye and good night. Bang!
Good afternoon, evening, or morning, or wherever you're listening to ourselves. This is the Kick Out Podcast with myself, Daragh Maher, and I'm happy, delighted, ecstatic to have Dave back on set with me. On set, in studio even.
Someone missed me.
Oh, Dave. It was, no, don't get me wrong, it was fun last week with Peter and Ian. It was great crack. We had some really good conversations, as you probably know.
I did. I heard back. It was an awesome show.
Thank you. And but you know, it's good to have the routine back. It's good to have your face across the way from me, so and I get to hear your voice. It's really good. But you did miss out on our OTT review last week. Obviously, you couldn't make it to Scrappermania because you had other commitments involving your band.
I did.
But you were at Contenders. A quick recap from Contenders from yourself and what you thought.
Oh, Contenders was a class show. Like, you know, I'm very happy for they booked Terry Thatcher very well. I thought for him winning the title. I would have liked to seen Scotty win it as well, but like, you know, Terry was a man that for that.
His time will come.
Oh, of course, he's all the time in the world.
Yeah, I said it last week as well. Says since Contenders started, the story they've been telling about Terry Thatcher has been fantastic.
That's
building him to the crowd so much, and him going through the whole tournament and then winning it at the end.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah, also some really good matches as well. Last time we'll see Keith Lee in OTT as well. Yeah. Like, you know, he'll be going to. We'll presume anyway he's gone to NXT in the future anyway. Yeah. So it was awesome as well. It was nice to see the Armstrongs and Rough Stuff as well.
Yeah,
making their OTT debuts as well. I enjoyed the circumstances of the match between Armstrongs and Angel Cruisers, considering Beagle's injury the night before.
Full credit to that. They had to think of that less than a day in advance. Obviously, they had a night and some of the afternoon of Sunday to think up of what they could do with that match and use the injury. And I applaud all four of them, even like, if Joe and Foxy were involved as well, all six of them. It was fantastic.
Speaking of Joe, actually, he was special guest referee for Dom Tuck's latest adventure. Now Foxy is he wasn't undefeated for the whole time. I think his streak ended as the night went on. I think there wasn't pinned for something else.
Technically, the match didn't end. He wasn't actually involved in the match. So
but his shoulders were down.
I'm saying Foxy's record is still 1-0.
The streak is still on.
The streak is still on.
But no, it was a class show. I'm meaning to check out Scrappermania. I haven't had the chance yet to watch it back on their OTT on demand yet, but it's definitely something I check out because I've heard so much.
Well, of course, they released the free match this week of Will Ospreay and Matt Riddle, which was probably match of the night in a lot of people's eyes. So it's definitely there for you to watch. Even Dave Meltzer commented on it. Did you see that on Twitter?
I didn't know.
He's been told by a lot of people that he has to check out this match, and the fact that it was a free match, he said he's gonna have a look at it.
There you go. So definitely a lot to check out. But in the meantime, we're coming to you from Near FM Studios in the beautiful North Dublin village of Coolac. I'll be here bringing you all the latest news, results, previews, and more from the world of professional wrestling. This week's show will be giving you reviewing all the past week's action from WWE, previewing events from the likes of PWU, Fight Factory Pro Wrestling, and Low Blows. We'll also have special talks with Lee Calahane from CCW and Butch from OTT for their events coming up.
Yeah, it's crazy.
As well.
We haven't actually talked to Lee in a while, so it's great to have him back.
Indeed it was, yeah. So, and it's definitely a big show for them coming up. So all that to come, but first we're going to start, as always, with the news.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Also, good news, everyone.
We're going to start with news concerning Randy Orton. Now, you may have wondered where he's been, and this week's edition of Smackdown, he is facing time away in the ring after undergoing knee surgery. WWE.com posted an article last Friday announcing that Orton recently underwent successful surgery to repair a middle meniscus tear on his left knee, which has been an issue he's been dealing with for several months. WWE didn't offer a timetable for when he may be able to return. Orton said, while speaking with WWE.com, quote, "I've known I needed the surgery since late of last year, but I've been waiting for the right time to get the knee cleaned out. Right now is the right time." Orton didn't travel overseas for WWE's current European tour and hasn't wrestled since he faced Jeff Hardy at Backlash at May 6th, where he unsuccessfully challenged for Hardy's United States Championship. Orton held the title prior to losing it to Jinder Mahal in a fatal 4-way match at WrestleMania 34, with Hardy winning it from Mahal as both switch brands in last month's Superstar shake-up. So, and I think it's cool. Like, it's what he needs, as I said. It's amazing to think that he's needed for so long, and yeah, he's only getting it now. It shows how tough he is realistically, and now, considering how all the injuries he's had in the past, particularly with his shoulders, he's still tough enough to deal with something like that. Like something like that is a nasty injury. Like, so
exactly. I think it's really good that it's the perfect time for him to get the surgery as well, because just after WrestleMania.
In terms of how he was booked, you mean?
Yeah, not in terms of how he's booked, but like SmackDown's in this healthy position now where that they're not reliant on Randy, so he can go and he take the time out. Now, it had been speculated for a while anyway that after WrestleMania he'd be going to a more part-time schedule. I think this could be it as well, because he's been going full-time for years. He's probably beat to heck at this stage.
Probably.
You know, you talk about people that don't get any injuries. Randy's one of them. He doesn't really get any injuries. He's like the Miz. He's been going for so long.
Well, no, I disagree with that. He actually does have his fair share of injuries. Like, it's
not for a while, not for a good couple of years.
Yeah, but like the difference between him and the Miz is that Miz is consistently injury free, whereas Orton's had a series of injuries, particularly with his shoulders, like over the on his career. So
yeah,
so he's not completely injury prone. Like, he's like, I think now he's looking after himself a lot more in how he wrestles.
Yeah,
similar to how Daniel Bryan wrestles. I think he's more careful about, like, if you notice a couple of his moves, for example, you'd notice he's not going head first on everything anymore, and for good reason.
Yeah.
So I think Orton has that similar case, and for good reason, obviously. But that's probably what's helped in the case. But at the same time, you know, it's a good time for him to get off, and even like it's never impossible to not get injured nowadays, I suppose, unless you're the Miz, of course.
Yeah.
Or unless you have reality TV shows or other reasons to not wrestle.
Exactly. Like
doing bootlegs of the Marine, which I'm sure are good moves. I haven't seen them.
Ooh, you're showing shade.
Well, I haven't seen them. I don't know. Like,
okay.
I'm presuming.
Okay. I haven't seen them either, but I don't think I'd want to.
Anyway, we'll move on. In the meantime, some big news concerning Smackdown and its location over the next few years.
Yes, you probably heard about this anyway during the week. A few superstars have been tweeting about it. But following last week's story on the USA Network retaining Raw but letting Smackdown go for bidding, it was reported on Monday that WWE and Fox have agreed in principle on a deal for Fox to become the new home of Smackdown. Exact financial numbers weren't imminently disclosed, but sources describe Fox's offer as massive. Some even saying that it will go into the $1 billion mark, which is crazy.
It's madness.
It's also reported on the deal, adding that SmackDown will begin airing on Fox's main broadcast channel in the fall of 2019 and will be moved to Friday nights when that happens. SmackDown previously aired on Fridays in a taped format for much of its history. Officials from WWE and Fox have not commented on the reports. It was later reported that WWE's deal with Fox is a 5-year deal worth $205 million per year, so that's where you get the billion.
Boom.
If you're good at maths, like this guy.
It's pointing at yourself, by the way.
What?
You're pointing at yourself, just let our
of
listeners
course,
know.
Yeah. No, because if I was saying you, I'd be saying like that guy.
That guy.
This guy.
But you, oh, okay.
Yeah. They also noted that WWE is said to have gotten an even higher bid for SmackDown that wasn't from NBC, Universal or Fox.
Okay.
But WWE executives are said to have embraced Fox's commitment to heavily promote SmackDown across a robust sports portfolio that includes NFL and Major League Baseball. Facebook and Amazon had been mentioned as possible destinations for the show.
By that logic alone, like, you know, that makes perfect sense where they would go with Fox, considering the fact that, like, you know, it, because that's what the likes of Raw and SmackDown has suffered from in terms of American ratings. It's competed with stuff like baseball or basketball or American football. In this case, now SmackDown would never have to be like that because it's going and almost around all that.
SmackDown was never in competition with
Well,
American football.
Well,
anyway.
it's a problem that Raw have, is what I'm trying to say as well.
Yeah.
Though, so.
Raw is going to continue to have that problem because it's on Monday nights, and of course, there's always for those 8 months of the year, isn't it?
Yeah,
8 months of the year. Yeah, that's when NFL is on, so you get that Monday night football, of course. Well, yeah, it looks like moving to Fridays. We put the poll out there to ask, and a lot of people are in agreement that Fridays is a good day to have wrestling. And I think it is good too because it breaks it up the week nicely. Because you're not, especially for us on this side of the pond, we're kind of like you can't commit to like 2 late nights in a row, really, can you?
Some can. Not everyone. Some can.
Some can.
We're speaking for ourselves here.
Yeah,
obviously.
some can, and fair play to them. But if I could do that, I'm going to be dead and work the next day, and I can't do that.
The thing is now with this coming onto SmackDown, you'd imagine now that this is literally going to, like, any thoughts of the roster being not split again. This is completely out the door as far as I'm concerned, because like this would make sense to have 2 legitimately rosters that are the same length, the same size as well. Because
I wouldn't be so sure about
okay, well, why would you disagree with that?
The fact that it's so much later in the week gives the guys time to travel to the place as well, gives the time, like, the whole roster to do what they need to. Yeah. So it still is that option if they do choose to go back under like the one large roster instead of the 2 separated ones. But I haven't seen anything to see that they are going to change that anyway.
If we look at how superstars have complied to being in the particular roster, though, let's say one is on Raw, one is on SmackDown, you'll notice that like they have a schedule that's met, like, especially if they're a family man. Would it work? Was it 4 or 5 days a week, and you have certain days off? Imagine how much more tedious that may be if one is on both shows. So by that sense, it makes more sense as well if I have two big rosters as well, rather than maybe, I don't know, Raw having 2/3 of a third, like, or whatever the proportion is, like, you know. So for me, it makes more sense that it has 2 big enough rosters, and it could even be a case, I think, like, where SmackDown could end up being a 3-hour show, which is good and bad, because it's good and bad. It's bad because the 2 hours has that perfect impact, as we've seen, especially at the start of SmackDown. It's bad because it's 3 hours of wrestling, and even those hardcore wrestling fans are going to have a hard time dealing with that. You know?
Well, 2 hours of wrestling, an hour of ads. But I can see where you're getting at.
You know what I mean, though? It all adds up, though.
It does all add up. If they are going to, like, if it was the case that SmackDown was going to go to 3 hours, I would fully expect then the roster to be under the one banner. Because,
I think so.
Yes. Yeah. I don't think SmackDown have the roster at the moment to keep a 3-hour show going. But I think, but if they were to keep it at 2 hours, then it's fine. But if they are to go back, to 3 hours, then it would have to be all the roster together, I feel. And I never got that as well.
It would be good in some aspects because let's not forget, like, the one thing as well is, like, the Cruiserweights could be on both shows as well, because they travel on both shows as far as I'm aware. Like, they're on Raw, but they're rarely on Raw nowadays, are they? They're mostly owned on 205.
They're not really on Raw nowadays. Raw have seemed to, like, distance themselves from it. I think Vince is just letting them have their own show,
which is good. Which, to be fair, isn't a bad thing. I'm okay with that.
No, it's okay. It's all right as long, like, because I didn't like the whole song and dance that was made about it on Raw anyway.
Think so?
Yeah, I didn't enjoy that.
Well, wait,
I thought if they were going to put them on Raw, just put them as part of the show. Didn't make the song and dance. Remember when they were making sure the ropes were turned purple and everything like that?
Oh no, yeah, that was
I didn't like that.
Yeah, whereas just let them be part of the show rather than be their part of a part of the show. If that makes sense. If that makes
they're part of the roster. Yeah.
Yeah. As I said, certainly very lucrative. Like, you'd think, like, imagine if Raw managed to get involved in Fox as well. How well would they do then?
Yeah. They would do well.
It solves the problem they have with ratings straight away.
The problem is, like I said, with Mondays, Fox wouldn't be able to offer them the sort of stuff that they can offer them on SmackDown.
Maybe.
Because of the likes of the NFL is on Monday nights, and a lot of like I don't know how the basketball schedule is, but I know that it's on fairly regularly. Same with baseball, but NFL is the big It's the big thing that they have.
Yeah,
and I think it's
true.
every second Monday night that they will have Monday Night Football.
Are they still associated with UFC?
Yes.
Yeah, because I heard rumours now they're going to be associated with ESPN in the future now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I heard. No, it's unconcerned in wrestling, but I just thought, I thought doing very well in Fox.
Yeah. Not too sure, like, whoever offers more money.
Yeah.
Obviously, they are doing well, but another place might be offering more money.
That's true. We'll move on in the meantime. Speaking of certain times of shows, WWE are looking to lengthen its pay-per-views by 1 hour, starting with Money in the Bank.
You mean it started with Backlash? They just didn't tell anyone.
Sky Italia on Facebook posted that the Money in the Bank show would be moved to a 4-hour window starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time in the United States from the previous 8 p.m. start time. Other cable providers have also contacted us today with that information. They were told that most of the shows would run from 7 to 11 p.m, with the big four shows running from 6 to 11 p.m. It is unclear whether pre-game shows would be dropped or whether it would mean matches would begin 30 minutes to 90 minutes before the pay-per-view starts, depending on the show, as has been the case so far. Collaborating this information, In Demand website is listing a 6:30 p.m. start for Money in the Bank. Traditionally, they would do a 30 minutes countdown show prior to going live. WWE have not responded to questions on the subject. I mean, you get it for the big four, but is the 4 hours necessary for most of their pay-per-views? Or the pay-per-views in general?
Because it's two shows coming as one.
It is. So
it's the only reason.
In a way, it's needed.
Yeah.
Because let's think of it this way. Did you feel like there was so much more that could have been a Backlash that wasn't seen? Like, even though it was a really good show. Well, I won't say it was a good show.
Also, it was not a good show. I still have not seen that main event, and I refuse to sit down and watch it.
You don't want to. I've seen it. You don't want to. But the best match was the first match, wasn't it?
Seth and Miz.
Oh, by far and away. But the point is, like, you know, it filled all the gaps, all the storylines. Which, imagine there was a few ones that could have been dealt with, or a few extra matches.
We mentioned on the preview of it that, like, there was only one tag team match in the whole thing.
That's it.
And that wasn't for any of the tag team titles.
That's a very good point.
There you go. There's two titles that are missing there already.
Yeah.
The Raw women's title was defended. So was the Smackdowns. The US title was defended too.
Yeah, Universal wasn't either, but that's another story. That's another story considering Brock.
He's not defending either at Money in the Bank, is he? At the moment, there's no opponent for him.
There's no announcement made anyway.
There you go. That's what you want. That's why you want all the shows under one banner.
I'm gonna get worked up again, so please don't let me.
I still pop every time I talk about that, and then you and Amy on the video were just like, that's why they did it. I thought you knew.
No, but no, it just made sense. It makes sense when you said it. It's like, oh yeah, yeah. But I get worked up thinking about Brock as champion. You know what I'm like. I'm fed up of it at this stage.
I know. I'm just trying to get another rant out of you. That's all.
Good luck.
I'm just poking you with.
On that note, let's move on. Reality TV news, but not from Total Bellas.
No, for once, actually, which is a nice relief. WWE's next entry into reality television will be making its debut this summer. It was announced this past Tuesday, on Smackdown, that Miz and Mrs. will be premiering on the USA Network at 10 p.m. Eastern Time on July the 24th. With that being a Tuesday, the series will be airing right after Smackdown and is scheduled against 205 Live, which is probably not the best idea.
Yeah.
Miz and Mrs. has a 6-episode order, and each episode will be 30 minutes long. It's being produced by WWE and Boom/Murray Productions. The reality show was announced this January, with the concept being that will chronicle Miz and Maurice's lives through Maurice's pregnancy and then becoming parents for the first time. The couple welcomed the birth of their daughter, Monroe Sky Mizarian, on March 27th. WWE had Miz reveal the premiere date on television as he opened this week's SmackDown with a Miz TV segment where all three members of the New Day appeared.
John Pancakes at him, but we'll get to that later on. First of all, why is it competing with 205 Live?
I don't know.
That makes no sense. Like, to be
really
fair,
don't know.
To be fair, I don't think like this is a completely separate thing as far as I'm aware. Like from like but the fact is it's WWE television in two different ways.
Yeah.
I kind of. Are they shooting I feel like they're shooting themselves in the foot in the way, especially against something like 205 Live.
I think they had the assumption that 205 Live is going to be on the network anyway.
That's
so
good point.
that people can go and watch it later.
Maybe. That's a good point. But it's the best thing they're producing at the moment. like match wise, it's the best thing they have on TV right now.
I still don't have time to sit down and watch it. I'm even losing time to watch NXT at the moment. I really don't.
No, NXT is getting good again as well.
I'm watching highlights and stuff, and I'm wishing I can watch the full show, but I can't. I don't have the time at the moment.
When do we talk about later on about both Clash shows? But nevertheless, it's an interesting show, like, you know, because we're all becoming fans of the Miz, like, even though he's a heel, like, and like we're sort of seeing a lot more of him, like, or like how Miz and Maurice has gotten on. They were probably the best wrestler and heater for the last couple of years, as far as I can see.
Wrestler and manager.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah,
heater.
Is that not what it's called anymore?
No, why would it be heater?
Is that what I thought that was a term?
No.
I need to improve my wrestling glossary. But the point is, like, they were like, it's like there's the closest to that now, or at least the best at the moment, is probably Andrade Almas and Zelina Vega. Yeah. But they were like, Liz and Maurice were like that before, and now we get to see what their personal lives are like, you know. So I'm not personally a fan of reality TV, but either way, like, no, you can't help but be intrigued.
Well, there was like, I was encouraged to watch Total Divas, and I did watch some old series that was on the network. They're not up to date with the current series. I haven't seen one any of that.
We're like a year behind.
I watched the Daniel Bryan, the Total Bellas thing, because I wanted to see the Daniel Bryan thing. That's a hook. Obviously, they're trying to put the new hook in this season with the whole Cena and Nikki Bella thing.
Right.
But yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it either. Like, curiosity might get the better of me, and I might watch it eventually, but I'm not going to be watching it week by week when it's going to be I will get to it at some stage.
Well, it's only 6 episodes, so there'll be time to catch up.
Exactly.
We'll move on in the meantime. WWE have revealed its first round matches for the UK tournament. The opening matches are as follows: Jack Gallagher versus Drew Gulak, Ashton Smith versus Joseph Connors, Flash Morgan Webster against James Drake, Kenny Williams versus Dave Mastiff, El Ligero versus Travis Banks, Zach Gibson versus Amir Jordan, Tucker versus Joe Coffey, and Tyson T-Bone versus Jordan Devlin. Aside from Tucker versus Gallagher, all of these will be taking place at Download Festival from June 8th to 10th. Gallagher and Gulak actually technically already happened. It was filmed in the Full Sail University earlier on this month, on the second of their 2 straight nights of NXT television tapings. The winners of the first round matches will advance to Royal Albert Hall on June 18th, and the winner of the tournament will challenge for Pete Dunne's WWE UK Championship at the venue at this next night. The bracket for the tournament will be announced next Wednesday. It's definitely an intriguing tournament. Some really interesting names. Now, all the names were announced during the weekend. The matches only announced later on. So, already some really good matches. Gallagher and Gulak, for example.
Yeah, it's 205 Live match as well, which pretty much was added into it.
Yeah, like Gulak's the only, I think he's the only non-Brit in the whole tournament, as far as I can say.
Well, no, because Travis Banks is from New Zealand.
Well,
yeah,
he lives in the UK.
We had this argument where I said I hope he get added in, and you were like, no, because he's from New Zealand.
But okay, but I take that back now. Simply because he lives in England, and technically he's from New Zealand, which is a province of the United Kingdom. For better, was. Be
very careful. You don't want to get our New Zealand listeners angry, if we have any. But
the point is, his career is in the UK.
Yeah. And by the way, it's not El Ligero for the UK tournament. It's just Ligero. So I don't know why they made him get rid of the L, but okay.
Because they don't like wrestlers with D or L at the start of their names.
I don't know. I'm like. The lineup is fantastic. I think it actually
the matches are very intriguing.
Last year.
Oh, I think it's
better than last year's.
Yeah, you could say that. Like,
I think it's better than last year's.
Mainly because most of the wrestlers you kind of heard of, like, you know, like especially from the indies, like Flash Morgan Webster is doing very well in progress. Kenny Williams obviously is doing very well in ICW. Zach Gibson's doing tremendously well everywhere. Like, you know, like not just in OTT here, but in progress he's doing very well as well. Jordan Devlin, you can't say enough good things about him, obviously. But there's some names like Amir Jordan, which I think I haven't heard much about him.
Yeah, there's Amir Jordan and
Ashton Smith is
Ashton Smith I haven't heard a lot of.
Ashton Smith was ICW Tag Champions with Rampage Brown, as far as I'm aware. Not now. Before, I think the Kinky Party are champions now, but before that it was Smith and Brown.
Yeah. They're having a match with a New School.
We'll talk about that later on. We'll talk about our previews, but some really interesting matches. So straight, like, you know. It's harder to pick a winner this year, only because like Pete Dunne was so hot going into the tournaments.
Jordan Devlin.
Really? Do you really think Jordan Devlin could go all the way here?
I think Jordan Devlin is. I definitely think he's getting to at least the semi-finals. He could possibly be.
Oh, he
in the
has
final.
to. No, I agree. Like, I can't see him losing to T-Bone. No disrespect to him. But, like, there's really interesting matches. Like,
the bracket hasn't been made yet, though. That's the thing.
That's true. So that's what will make it really
so
interesting. Kenny Williams and Dave Mastiff. That looks like a really good match as well. Again, they're all really good
it's
matches.
very interesting that none of the guys that stuck around in NXT after the UK tournament are in it this year. So, like, the likes of Wolfgang, Trent Seven, Tyler B, none of them are in it.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. No, I think it's great because these guys now get a chance themselves, and some of those.
It adds more layers to the UK division. That's a good thing.
And you were saying about the tournament the first matches are being recorded at the moment. That's I think because Jordan's over there at the moment, isn't he? He's over in Florida.
No. The first match was the only match that's been recorded is Good Like Gallagher, which has already happened.
Yeah, but
the rest of the matches are in downloads. The rest of the matches are in downloads.
At
the
download?
festival, yeah, all downloads festival next month.
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it'll be Jordan against T-Bone and all that.
I wish I could go to that.
That'd be class. No, I mean I want to go to that festival sometime. It won't be this year, but definitely soon.
I went before, but
Go
that
for
was
NXT
before
alone.
NXT. I went before NXT was there.
Oh yeah.
But it's a great festival.
I
I
imagine
really
so.
recommend everyone has to go there at least once because it's such a great atmosphere there.
One thing I want to say before we move on about this, like a lot of names we've noticed that were announced for this were associated with the world of sports, but previously. So what's going to happen? What's happened there really? Like, isn't that supposed to be happening again? And now Dave Mastiff, who was their former champion, is now involved. Like, what's going on there?
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's been a mess. Anyway, ITV were never really in on it.
Like Eligara was involved, Zach Gibson was involved.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like for me, it's cool that they're all involved in WWE UK Tournament.
I think it's better that they will be. It's better news for them. It's better for them, to be involved with WWE at this stage instead of World of Sport.
We'll move on in the meantime. Now, the Best of the Super Juniors now has gotten underway.
Yes, it's up and running. I can't say I've seen any of it, unfortunately.
Me neither.
Once again, busy schedule, busy life. But we'll get through it anyway. The Best of Super Juniors are now well underway in Japan as of Thursday evening.
This reports.
Yep. Now here is how the series has played out after the first 5 nights of action. Now in Block A, surprisingly, the leader at the moment is Tiger Mask 4 with 6 points. He's 3 from 3. Flip Gordon, who I think everyone has seen that, has at least seen that clip of Gordon against ACH.
Haven't seen it yet.
He springboards onto one rope, jumps onto another rope, and flips off onto ACH on the outside.
Well, there you
Have
go.
you not seen that?
No, I have not.
It's fantastic. I'll show you during the ad break.
This is how out of touch I've been the last 2 weeks.
I'll show you. I'll show you during the ad break. But it's brilliant. But the Bone Soldier Taiji Ishimori has 2 wins from 2 as well. He's on 4 points. Will Ospreay, of course, the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, is on 4 points as well. Kinemaru is on 2 points. He's finally gotten a win after 2 losses. ACH is on 2 points as well. He's had 2 losses in a row. Yo from Show and Yo is on 2 points. And Bushi has not won a match yet. He's on 0 points. And they've of course have all had 3 matches each. Now in Block B they haven't had 3 matches, they've only had 2. So at the moment there's a tie for the lead between Dragon Lee and El Desperado, both on 4 points. But then it's afterwards on 2 points there's 4 wrestlers. It's a Show, Chris Sabin, Hiromu Takahashi.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know how I got myself so tongue tied there. Kushida, of course, is on 2 points too. He's the defending champion, of course. Marty Scurll, unfortunately, is on 0 points. He's 2 losses from 2, but he has faced both Kushida and Takahashi. So the top 2 in the block.
Exactly. So
already.
that's a tough draw, regardless. So.
And Riguchi Taguchi is on 0 points as well. So it's a really interesting block so far.
It's an open tournament. I don't think either of us expected Tiger Mask to be 3-3 so far.
No, not at all. Not at all.
No disrespect
it's
to
great.
him.
It's great for the likes of Flip and Chris Sabin. They've had some good starts.
Yeah.
Will Ospreay, of course, had a bad start, but he's gotten back.
No,
on
he's recovered. No, he's recovered. Like the reason he's so low down the table so far is because of the Ishimura loss. Yeah. Simple as that. Like and because of that, he's always going to be lower than him at the moment. Like so, because they count head-to-head records as well. Like that's where it really gets interesting towards the end. So, but it's very interesting. Like it's hard to. Like it can be anyone's right now. Like and last few have been the one last year in particular was very close. Like there was one stage where I think it was Block B. Everyone had 6 points.
Yeah. At the moment, yeah, it's very tight at the moment. Obviously everyone still has a chance. It's still early days. They've only had 2 or 3 matches each. I still think it's going to be an Ospreay Takahashi final.
I hope so.
And I think we both have Takahashi to win, don't we?
I do. I think.
Yeah, I think we both do.
You basically copied me when we
I
did
did
those
not.
sets. You did the best.
I did not.
The scores are slightly different. Don't even add up either.
They probably don't. They probably don't. Like,
see, admitting it
when
there.
we were because when we were putting on. When we were doing the previews, thinking who would get on that point, I was just like, yeah, that guy seems like he'll get 4 points. That guy seems like he'll get a 10.
Yeah, you're just off mine saying, this looks right. This looks right.
I did not work out, and it's probably so far off, it's unbelievable. I did not work out if those points added up. It's as if it's actually
you're taking
possible.
advantage of my superior knowledge of Japan. End of story.
It's all about getting those points down.
Yeah, whatever.
What am I, second in the table at the moment?
Yeah, it's true. I can't argue with that.
Yeah. I had a very good scrap.
No, the only reason I'm not higher is because I didn't put my vote in for the greatest Royal Rumble.
And you had a bad Backlash.
Yeah, well, no, I'm alright. So
I won Backlash.
Yeah, well, I only went off I only got 2 ones different from yourself, I think. So
yeah.
I'm in the top 10, I think, as far as my worst. Despite that.
Yeah.
So it could be worse. But that's a different story. Anyway, we'll finish off our news with results from Progress 69. Progress held their biggest UK show outside of London for their Chapter 69 Be Here Now cards that took place at the Victoria Warehouse in Manchester, England. Jeannie, who's one of their long-time women's wrestlers, finally captured the Progress Women's Championship in a wild match against now former champion Toni Storm, in a contest that had interference from House of Couture members Nina Samuels and Shakara, and a referee bump that all led to Storm being clearly beaten Jeannie in a couple of occasions. Jeannie still managed to shock Toni with a roll up to capture the golds. Post-match, Storm seems to tease that this will be her Progress farewell, but then she said that she is coming after Jeannie to get her belt back. Furthermore, Doug Williams was in a bit of a losing streak. He snapped that and by that won the Atlas title by defeating Joseph Connors with his Chaos Fury suplex in a 4-way that also featured former champion Rampage Brown and Rob Lynch. Now here's really interesting news. WXW owner Christian Michael Jacoby, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Jacoby, excuse me. Christian Michael Jacoby came out to confront Pete Dunne after his match to get him to accept a match against Ilja Dragunov. And what Dunne didn't expect, however, was that Dragunov appeared at Manchester to meet the Bruiserweight face to face and get the match he wanted at Progress Wrestling show at Wembley Stadium, which will take place this September. Fortunately, Dunne lost his match, where he and Tyler Bates came up short in a 3-on-2 handicap match against Jimmy Havoc, Mark Haskins and Flash Morgan Webster. It was supposed to be a 3-on-3 match, but of course Trent Seven, who recently got injured, so he won't be able to appear on OTT in a couple of weeks either because of that. In other results, Travis Banks retained his Progress World title against Jack Sexsmith despite a terrific effort from Sexsmith. Walter defeated David Starr, which is becoming a terrific rivalry across the promotions. They've wrestled in almost a lot of different promotions in Europe in particular. Like they have a big rivalry in WXW, Progress, and of course they're bringing that to OTT. Aussie Open defeated Maverick Mayhew and Connor Mills to advance in the Thunder Bastards Tag Team Tournament Series. And the 2018 Super Strong Style 16 winner, Zack Sabre Jr., defeated Mark Andrews to continue his terrific run. So definitely a lot of matches now. It certainly opens the door a lot now to their Wembley show coming up, doesn't it? Like with all those matches in particular. Yeah,
some really, really interesting matches. Obviously, myself and yourself, we haven't heard a lot of Ilya Dragunov beforehand, but he's gotten rave reviews.
I've researched him. I saw some of his matches. I saw some of his matches when he won they have their tournament, the 16 karat gold tournament. Yeah. He is a terrific wrestler, and he's just, again, I've used this term so many times, disgustingly young. He's not Scotty Davis young, but he's 22, 23. Yeah, which for someone of his level is shocking. Really is. He's that's a match that that's probably the most anticipated match in Europe. Yeah, you could argue. Probably, yeah. I love the post from Pete Dunne on Twitter the night after. It was like a picture of him going head to head with Ilya. Oh yeah, and he was like, some guy, I'm going against some jobber at Wembley. Yeah. I think I saw someone tweet about this actually, saying finally a fight between England and Russia we can be proud of. So Which is kind of true, because especially going to the World Cup.
Very true, yeah.
But other than that, though, Flashmark and Webster now, like I heard he's aligned with Mark Haskins and Jimmy Havoc, and I think he's doing that just to get a victory, because he's been very self-doubts in the months previous. Like, that's how he's been booked in progress, like, so. And I think he was very reluctant in the way it was won as well. Like, I have to watch it back. But Jack Sexsmith, though, like I heard, that's a match I want to really see between him and Travis Banks, because apparently he was very close. Yeah. Very close to defeating Travis Banks. So he's a guy I think should be champion in the future for sure. Like, have you seen him wrestle yet, Jack Sexsmith? No. He's like, I don't know much about him. I don't know if his character actually is.
He is.
Oh, he definitely is.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, I saw a documentary about him.
Oh, okay. But the fact is, like, his character's his character's very sympathetic to the point where like he's going to be over, because he still has that. He still fights for, like, and that's what's, especially in this day and age, that's very appreciated. Like, so it's definitely intriguing to watch. Like, I must have subscribed to their on-demand service, because they're the tops for British wrestling as far as I can see. Yeah. So
they're the main show at the moment.
That's it. Yeah.
Did you hear? Sorry, it wasn't in the news, but did you hear the news about Sami Zayn at the weekend?
No, I didn't.
Unfortunately, she's broken her ankle.
Oh no.
Yeah, she's gonna be out for the next couple of months. It was during an ICW taping in a match between her and Viper.
Okay.
And Viper sustained a neck injury as well. There's actually a picture of them in the hospital together. Viper is obviously in the bed. She has to lie straight back because she has a neck brace on.
Right.
And Sami Zayn is just has her leg in a cast up on the bed. Just they're both chilling out with their thumbs up. So it's good to know that they're both doing okay. But unfortunately, Sami Zayn's going to be out for a little while. So I don't know what that's going to mean for the OTT Women's Championship.
We'll see, because as far, like, if we look back at how OTT have booked Katie Harvey when she was injured while she was the women's champion, so maybe they know how to deal with that. But at the same time, they have such a roster now. Maybe they don't see the point in that. Like, so who knows? Like, it'd be interesting to see.
Would another tournament be out of question?
Can't see why not.
It would be a great way to set up a match between Valkyrie and Katie Harvey.
That's
Vacant championship.
That's a very good point.
Katie Harvey was the number one contender. Valkyrie was the one that came so close.
It certainly makes that story very intriguing, for sure. Yeah. Like, even like adding more layers to like other rivalries. Like, obviously, if Debbie and Raven and OTT, like, they're gonna have their final match in CCW next week. We'll get into that when we talk to Lee later on. But yeah, it's certainly very intriguing going forwards. But anyway, that's all our news. When we return, we will continue our show with our results of the week, starting with WWE Raw.
You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows, visit electronicmediacollective.com.
We're back here on The Kickout, your weekly pro wrestling guides. Now let's continue on our show now with our results of the week.
Oh my God! What the hell is going on? Oh my God!
And we're going to start off with Monday Night Raw.
Welcome to Monday Night Raw.
So let's see, what have I missed? Like, I haven't been keeping, like, this is the thing now, because haven't been here in for last week, and we hadn't the show the week before. It's kind of weird, because I'm like, oh, what's going on? So I'm sort of gone, but I went in this fresh without looking back the last couple of weeks. So I'm like, okay, I'm sort of getting it now.
Highlights include the B team are class.
They are class.
Jinder Mahal's over because he's going after Roman Reigns.
Is he?
Yeah, pretty much. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn still are fantastic,
as always.
Nia Jax is giving Ronda Rousey a title shot, which we don't know why. And pretty much the B team having B on their shirt kind of signifies how Raw has become the B show.
Anyway, we'll start off with the segments at the start where Stephanie, Kurt Angle came out first of all acknowledging there was a contract signing between Ronda Rousey and Nia Jax for their women's title match at Money in the Bank.
It didn't start that way.
Well, no, but he acknowledged it by saying he'd be part of it until Stephanie came out, claiming that first of all, it's forgotten about him in Mania, and then saying that she's done a good job, but he can make him better. Like, it's not here, it's just there. It's not here, it's there. I just thought it was funny. Anyway, Stephanie said that he needs to stop giving Roman Reigns chances before he came out, and he had a bit of a, I don't know, it's sort of like they're taking shots at each other, but they're saying it in the most unangry way possible.
Yeah.
Like, it's stuff like Reigns says, like, if you have something to say to him, say to him. Stephanie says, I doesn't understand his hospitality, and if his Samoan temper keeps getting to him, you might have to find another line of work. And Reigns says you should watch your tone, or he'll destroy your favorite superstars, and so on and so forth. And Reigns says that he can tells her to cut the corporate crap because they don't want him to be near the Universal title or Money in the Bank. I'm like, well, first of all, that's wrong because he just lost. Mm-hmm. He lost.
Yeah, simple as you lost.
He wasn't screwed. He just lost.
Yeah.
Stephanie tells him to take it up with Jinder Mahal, and Reigns kind of said he already did. Then Kevin Owens came out trying to start a thank you Roman chant, which didn't go well. Mm-hmm. And then Kevin said that Stephanie's right, don't play favourites. He's proof of that because he signed him despite the issues with Vince and Shane, and tried to lean on his shoulder, and she's like, alright, don't ever do that to me again, which was funny. And then she booked the match between Reigns and Owens. Then it was your usual opener, like it was fine, like the thing
it was a great match. I loved it.
No,
it was probably the best match they had. Then the best match was the main event.
I'm talking about the segments, but is this whole top star versus authority thing getting old now?
They'll just try anything to get him over, pretty much.
Yeah,
they're literally trying everything in the book. I think they're on the last few pages.
No, because I don't think so, because they're going back to what they're only familiar with. That's the point. They're going back to stop top star versus authority. I've done that too often with John Cena.
That's what.
Or at least that authority with Stephanie. If it was someone different, maybe. If it was Shane McMahon who was a heel, it might be differently received.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're not trying everything.
The Shane McMahon against the heel angle worked with Kevin Owens. That worked. I think it's the face against the heel authority.
Where the authority is face as opposed to the heel the wrestler.
Yeah, I think that's when it makes it a little more interesting because it flips it on its head.
That was one of the best rivalries last year.
Exactly. It makes it different. That's why I think it's a good thing. But I don't know. It's just like the thing is, I hate, and I say this all the time, I hate seeing like Roman put in these horrible positions because he's so much better than that.
See, the thing is, you may say that like he's been booked, like they're trying everything with him. I don't think they are. I really don't think they are.
Well, there's one thing that they haven't done, and we both know what it is.
Yes, and they'll never do that, or at least they won't do it anytime soon, which they really should. And I think the way they're booking it actually would make sense. I mean, think about it.
I don't know. I think we've gotten to the stage where I think so many people are so sour towards him that even if they were to do that and turn him heel at this stage, I don't think the fans would connect with him because of that.
I don't know.
I really don't think they would.
My concern with it now, thinking about it, and this is where I think it helps actually have time off and reflect on it a bit more.
Yeah.
I think now, realistically, they're actually not trying. They're not trying enough. That's the point. They should try it and at least see. Yeah. Experiment a bit more. They did something in the sense where they're making them go all bad at the authority and stuff like that, but on certain circumstances. And when you lose to like that, I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, what more can you do instead of doing the same old stuff we've seen so many years ago?
Yeah.
With John Cena, it's pointless.
True.
As for the match itself, Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens, aka the No Thank You favourites. I'm naming every match now. Just make it funny. So I'll call this one the No Thank You favourites.
The No Thank You favourite.
Yeah.
Explain.
Because Roman Reigns is supposed to be the favourites, and here's Kevin Owens trying to say thank you, Roman, and there's ended up being no thank you.
Oh, okay.
So it would make sense if we hear it, but I guess that one didn't work. But anyway,
sorry.
It was a good match between the two of them until what happened in the end. So Reigns looked for a Superman punch. Kevin countered.
What happened in the end?
Kevin countered with a roll for 2. Kevin with a super kick, and the cannonball was cut off by the Superman punch for 2. Reigns charge. Kevin punches to the floor. Reigns followed and speared him to the floor until Jinder Mahal causes disqualification. Post-match, Owens and Mahal beat him down until Reigns came out. So Seth Rollins came out. Babyface ace. Seth Rollins came out making the save, and it was a good that's a thing. Both Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns have very good matches together. So, so even though and so it was a good match. So then we got to the tag team match. Then they made up for it. So Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins versus Jinder Mahal versus Kevin Owens, aka the Holla Holla Holla. You surely get what that means.
I do.
This was a good match. Like it was a good heat segment on Reigns and a good closing finish with Rollins and Owens, where And Kevin tagged in and hits a gut buster and a Vader like a elbow drop for 2. It breaks down to Rollins, counters the powerbomb and hits the super kick, and the blackout finishes for there. But then Mahal attacks both Reigns and Rollins with chair shots and lays them out. And it was later set up Reigns versus Mahal for Money in the Bank. So I don't know, like does Mahal really get over Reigns?
Yeah, because anyone but Roman.
Anyone but Roman?
Clearly.
Even Jinder Mahal?
Anyone but Roman, yeah.
Boggles
I told you when this feud happened, he will get over because of it.
Yeah.
And he is.
Anyway, Sami Zayn then interviewed...
Because anyone but Roman.
Oh, no.
And that's not my personal point of view.
I know.
That's just the fans' point of view.
I know. You say it like it's your personal view.
But it's not, though.
I know. You're telling the voice.
I've said so many times.
I know.
I like Roman. I like his
We all
wrestling
like Roman.
style. I like his matches.
I like Roman too.
I don't like the fact that I can pretty much guarantee he's going to win every match. But, you know, I like Roman. Okay, his character is okay. But, like, that's the thing. I like Roman.
Yeah,
he's okay. He's
like Roman
okay
too.
in my book.
I like Roman
he's
too.
Okay in my book.
Let's go from someone we liked to a promo we didn't like. Sammy interviewing Bobby Lashley's sisters.
I would love to know which was worse, that promo or the "This Is Your Life" one from Alexa Bliss.
Oh, this was... Both were so bad.
Yeah.
This is an all-time bad one. Because... Like, they're wasting time by making Lashley just a guy.
Yeah.
Like, essentially. Like, I don't know, like...
Well, to be fair, since Lashley's come back... Nah. Like, that's just my feeling to it.
But is that on him?
No, his booking's been terrible. They haven't done anything with him. I think he came in under the idea that that Roman would be champion right now and he'd be gearing up to challenge Roman at some stage. But because Brock signed a new deal,
Yeah.
I think they were going to have Bobby be the new Brock.
Right.
But because Brock stayed around, what they going to do with Bobby? They could have moved him to SmackDown because they would have known. They knew on the Monday that he was Brock re-signed, so they could have made the last minute change and put him onto SmackDown. But then again, what would he be doing on SmackDown right now? There's not a lot. There's nothing there. Everything's really booked up in terms of storyline.
Anyway, like, it was Sammy sympathizing with all the sisters, saying how much the parents hate Lashley and who sent her to reform school and all this stuff, and they all had like weapons of choice. It was, let me see if I got all their names. Jessica with a gross towel, like it had like all marks. Like, it was explained the week before, wasn't it, when Lashley had his promo? Was it 2 weeks ago?
I don't know.
But anyway, like
I haven't. Like, I've been trying to avoid it because it's just been terrible.
Francis has a broom, and then Kathy has an army helmet. Like, you know.
No, she explained.
Yeah.
They each one explained why they had those things.
Exactly. Yeah. So then they all attacked him afterwards when Sammy came out, and it was like I got even no reaction as well. Like it was Lashley whipping Jessica with the towel, and making Francis look like Hermione Granger with the broomstick.
But
so
can I just get their point of view from this?
Okay.
So we all know that. Okay, that wasn't his sisters. Obviously some local talent.
Yeah.
In drag and stuff like that. That's fine. But were they trying to get across the fact that Bobby Lashley beat up 3 women?
Oh, well, this is when they were
Seriously.
kids.
Seriously.
This is when they were kids, though. Like,
in the ring.
I don't know. You make it sound so much worse.
I know, but that's the kind of
whoever wrote
what
this.
They're playing off. It's whoever wrote this
should
be
leave
sacked.
And never come back. Let me just acknowledge something. Notice how quiet it was for the whole promo. Let me
not a reaction, and it's so bad on Sammy as well.
And it is because he's trying his best. You know he is. But let me direct you to a quote that I discovered while doing research for this. Vince McMahon, during Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast, he said, and I quote, it's not about what I want, ever. It's about what the audience wants. I'm a really good listener. Surely you heard the silence.
Sure you were.
We've gone to the conclusion he's tone deaf at this stage. Yeah. If he still hears Roman's boos and sounds over stuff like that. Yeah. Come on, Vince. Yeah. Let's move swiftly on.
Vince just says all that stuff just to, you know, it's just like appeasing fans saying that, you know?
Yeah. Ember Moon versus Alexa Bliss, aka the trip to Apollo 11. This was a good match, actually. I'll leave you to think about that, okay? Do I have to explain every match?
No, but maybe that one.
The trip to Apollo 11? Because Amber Moon is Amber Moon.
Yeah.
A spaceship going to the moon was Apollo 11.
Yeah.
And Alexa Bliss... Well, Bliss is another... Bliss is another word for... a trip, if you like.
Okay.
But anyway, it was a good match. It was maybe there was a bit too much shenanigans for a short match, if anything, but it was a good win. And like it was Amber picking up, and like I have to say, like one of the things I have to say about Bliss, I've not been the biggest fan of Alexa Bliss.
She's fallen off a cliff since she lost the title.
Think so?
She's been on a losing streak.
But
she's in the match. I know she's in the Money in the Bank match.
But I have to say, her selling is as good as ever.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah.
And that's something that I probably don't acknowledge too much in like so. So it was a good match, like, because it was like Bliss attacked the arm and then Moon was about to hit the side slap to fight it off until then the stage when Mickey was thrown out of the ring, or was thrown out of the match, I think it was. And then Moon hit the knee strike and the Eclipse for the win. That was that.
Why do they still have Mickey James beside Alexa the whole time?
Good question.
What's going on? Why?
I don't know.
You know?
They're just associates, simple as that.
Yeah.
Baron Corbin versus No Way Jose, aka the Neverending Headbangers Conga. Simple match. There wasn't much to it, to be honest with you.
The Never-Ending Headbangers Conga. Wow.
Well, surely you understand why I said never-ending.
No, it did end, thankfully.
It was a simple match, though. Not much more to say about it. Corbin got the deep six, and the end of the day, simple as that. Probably the best part of the whole thing is as you said, the B team against Breezango, and this was a rematch from the week before.
Mm-hmm.
B team.
Come on, what's your name for this?
I haven't got a name for this because it was too short.
Come on, you've got to have something. B team, Breezango.
I don't know, the short stance part 2, since it's a rematch. No,
we found out though that Breezango are fans of More Than Hype.
is that? Oh, really?
Yeah. Did you not see what they had on their board?
No,
behind?
I didn't.
They had Bleh written on the board behind.
Really?
Seriously?
Wow.
Go back and watch it.
I will.
Yeah.
That's awesome. The B team cut off Breezango and then hit a double team neckbreaker for the win, and their celebration lasted so long, and it's fun. Like, but I'm not sure like how long this will last though. What?
The brilliant run by the B team.
The brilliant ring by the ring. I wonder if Vince forgotten that he has a team called the Office of Pain though.
Haven't seen them in a couple of weeks, have we?
That's the thing. Now, Nia Jackson, Ronda Rousey's contract signing. Here's Stephanie McMahon, the creator of all things women outside here, congratulating Nia for her run as champion and praised her for challenging Ronda. But then she was stirring all this stuff in between. Like, Stephanie was essentially cutting promos for both.
Yeah.
You know, like, did that not?
She was just trying to stir it.
I know, but did you not have enough confidence in Rousey and Jack speaking?
I don't know. It's just Stephanie, though. That's
yeah,
Stephanie.
Yeah, but they're stirring...
Again, that's Stephanie. We should all know.
Yeah, but you had Stephanie saying that if Ronda loses, she'll tuck her tail and run because she hates losing. Then she turned things around, questioning if Nia's too lazy and why it took her so long to get on top, considering her physical presence. And Jax cut her off, saying that Ronda can get the arm on her and says she's not lazy and she'll make a name for herself by beating Rousey. Then Jax signed the contract, so did Rousey. Ronda moved to the table and offered a handshake, and they shake, and Rousey said that she will take her title and her arm at Money in the Bank. So, in a way, it was good that Stephanie did all the talking. I mean, it kind of was for the best in a way, but and it was solid enough to set up the match. The evil grin actually worked in the background.
It worked okay in terms of they needed a heel to hype up the match, because obviously they're both faces.
Yeah.
You know, we saw how poorly that ended up working for, you know, AJ and Shinsuke. But with these two, you know, they needed something, so I'm glad they did.
It takes two really...
Glad that, in that sense, I'm glad Stephanie was there to help build it up.
Yeah. Chad Gable versus Dolph Ziggler, aka the Bodyguard 6. I'm only saying that because you know how Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler are being compared to Shawn Michaels and Diesel.
Yes. Okay.
I don't know why I say Bodyguard 6, but I imagine because
I don't know. I thought maybe you'd have something to say about the fact that You know, there was a promo involving Drew McIntyre, Kurt Angle, Chad Gable, and Dolph Ziggler. But how Drew McIntyre was the only one that doesn't have like a really powerful amateur wrestling background. Because when looking at the promo, it's like Chad Gable's there, you know, represented America in the Olympics. Did he win a medal?
I have no idea. I don't think so.
He did. And then you have Kurt Angle, who's a gold medalist at the Olympics. And then you have
Dolph
Ziggler, who's a very accomplished amateur wrestler. And then it's the biggest out of all of them is Drew McIntyre, who hasn't gotten one.
But he's most frightening out of the 6 of them.
I was kind of disappointed that they didn't mention more about the whole amateur wrestling background between them, because I know Dolph said like, oh, like whatever have you done in your life and stuff.
Yeah.
Like Chad Gable had the perfect opportunity there, saying like, I went to the Olympics.
Yeah, but he probably felt it was contradicting Kurt in the way if he said that though.
How?
Because he won the Olympics. He competes in his.
But Kurt's not involved in it. Technically, he was only there as like talking to Chad.
I suppose.
You know, he's like I think he said Dolph as well. It's like, oh, I'm the most accomplished wrestler in my high school or something like that. And what have you ever done? I was like, that's where Chad just pops in, and then it's the Ultimate Comer's like,
this was a good match.
I went
to
the Olympics.
This was a good match. So like German suplex and Gable gets 2, then Ziggler cuts him off, and it's a super kick for the win. Yeah. If they got more time, this could have easily been there instead of the whole Lashley thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and Ziggler and McIntyre are doing very well together so far. Incredibly well.
Oh, really well.
Yeah. Post-match then Ziggler and McIntyre then laid out Gable, which is interesting because I heard rumours about a certain tag team reforming next week.
Hopefully not.
Think so?
No, I like Gable by himself.
Yeah, but in this case it's 2-on-2. It doesn't have to be permanent.
Yeah, I know. He might make a comeback and help him out and stuff like that. But then what are they going to do? Abandon the whole dad storyline?
Maybe.
You know?
Well, maybe.
You know how you said that the Authors of Pain are missing? You know who else is missing?
Revival?
No, Revival seems to be going back to NXT.
It seems like that, doesn't it? Go on, who?
Matt and Bray.
They weren't there.
Tag champs weren't there at all this week.
I think I don't know why they weren't there actually last week. Oh well. I actually don't. I've no answer for that, to be honest with you. Yeah. Natalya, Dana Brooke, Liv Morgan, and Sarah Logan in a Fatal 4-Way Money in the Bank qualifier. I've no name for this match, but it was what it was. Natalya made her comeback and takes out Ruby. Logan hits the running kick for 2. Logan hits Dana. Natalya hits the rolling lariat and sharpshooter for the win. It's like would you say Natalya out of all the 4 competitors is the least interesting choice to win?
Not if what a theory that I heard could happen happens.
What?
That Ronda wins the title at Money in the Bank, but earlier on in the night Natalya wins Money in the Bank, cashes it in on Ronda.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
That could work.
That's too good of a storyline to actually do it.
Bobby Roode versus Elias, aka the Never-Ending Glorious Chords. Solid match actually. Like the matches they have actually are pretty good. Like, you know, Elias, and I don't mind Elias winning this match in particular because like Bobby Roode's already in the Money in the Bank match, so he can take a loss in this case, even though it's not maybe completely ideal. He can get away with it. So Bobby has had a few losses since he's gone to Raw. But the point is, he's still in that picture for Money in the Bank match, so it's not incredibly downer on him straight away, like, you know what I mean? And then like Braun arrived and tackled Elias on his way to his match. So next week then it was confirmed that Seth Rollins will face Jinder Mahal and will also get a last chance match for the women's Money in the Bank Gauntlet qualifier. So I think there's 6 women involved in that. It's all the women from the Riot Squads, Bayley, Sasha Banks, and someone else. Yeah, I think that's it. Mickie James, I think, is the other one. But anyway, then Finn Balor versus Braun Strowman, aka Finn and the Braunstock. So the promo actually at the start was actually very funny when Strowman crushed the apple in his hands. It actually looked like Finn literally was terrified. Oh, his smile was gone. like Shawn Michaels, Finn lost his smile. Oh, literally. This was actually a really good match, though. Like, it was a good fun event, and it showed. I really enjoyed this match. It showed the strengths of both men, which is why it was a good match. Yeah, because Braun got to play monster, whereas Balor played the resilient babyface. Exactly, and he did the one that can actually stand toe to toe with him, because he had Braun reeling for a while as well. And he got to cut off Braun where others failed, and that's where that's what made it very interesting. Like, you know. So So you're not going to get a lot, like you're not going to get a lot of matches, like, you know, where 10 plus minutes from Raw involving Braun Strowman. But the only guys to do that would probably, one of the few guys who are able to do that would be Braun. The other one would probably be Kevin Owens. You know, but it was some really good spots in the match, like, you know, where Braun continued the banter and then dropped a big right. Balor dropped a big right, and they was chasing him around the floor, and then reversed the tackle into a sling blade. That was an awesome spot. Yeah. But in the end, it was Balor who got cut off with the shoulder tackle, and then charged. Balor sidestepped. Braun posts himself as he always does in every match. Balor hits the drop kick and heads up top, and then Braun cuts him off with a power slam. Down, drops the straps and hits him with another win. But interestingly, after the match, Braun ends up continuing power slamming everyone after the match. He picks up Braun as a sign of respect, which again is rare because you don't really see that from Braun. Braun's usually no nonsense for everybody. Yeah. So in that case, he showed respect, and that's a difference between, like, because like if it was Owens, he'd still power slam. Because it's Finn, he's babyface, he'd still.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing with Finn. No matter what they do with him, like, he's always going to be over. Like, if they book him like the way he's booking there, he'll be fine. Like,
exactly, he will be.
Naturally, we want more from him, but he's fine. It's like Braun. Braun's in that situation as well. In a way, he is, because of the way he's performing. The way it's in a way, it's not just necessarily how he's been booked, but the way he's performing. Yeah. Same with Balor. They'll be fine regardless of what happens.
I posed this question last week about Braun as well, because obviously last week on Raw, him and Finn teamed up but lost. But then at the end of the match, Braun was standing tall because he destroyed Dolph. And I said, is the fact that Braun is always how can I say this? The fact that always that Braun is standing tall after matches no matter what. Is it getting a little stale, the fact that they're not putting him in anything meaningful at the moment?
Well, we're enjoying it so much that for me now,
I think it's getting a little stale.
Think so?
If you don't have, like, it was good when he had the program with Roman, because there was a thing there because they both tried to basically kill each other. I liked it with Brock because it was leading towards him trying to win the title. At the moment, it's nothing. You know, I know he's in the Money in the Bank match and stuff, but like beforehand as well, when they turned him face, it was towards nothing. You know, nothing at all. And I just think if they have nothing for him to chase at the moment, and he's just going around doing that, he's not. For me, he's not seen as a legitimate threat to Brock or whoever else holds the title. He's more seen as a sideshow piece.
Well, that's one of the disadvantages when you have someone of his size. Yeah. Like, you know, it's similar to how Big Show was. But I don't know. I wouldn't count out just yet. I don't think, like, they're keeping him in reserve. I think that's the same with Balor. Like, just do what they're doing for now, and then when we need you for something big, we'll have you there.
Yeah, but you don't.
It's wishful thinking. I understand.
That's not really what you want, though, is it?
I know. I personally, I enjoy everything he's involved in. So he's one of those guys you want to see. Like, he's like one of the big reasons you want to watch Raw. Yeah. Like him and Balor and Seth Rollins are the guys you want to watch every week. Yeah. So on that note, let's move on to SmackDown.
Come on to the Rock Show, to the premiere show, SmackDown.
Started with Miz TV after Miz talked about Miz and Mrs. coming out very soon. The New Day joined them and ran them down for under, and they're basically saying, you know, like, New Day has no plans to watch Miz's reality show, and Miz immediately asked them who's going to represent them at Money in the Bank, and they all said me. So not revealing anything. So then Miz tries to run.
No, they did then say, like, oh, well, like, Xavier said, oh, maybe Big E, and then Big E said, oh, maybe Kofi, and then Kofi said, oh, maybe Xavier.
That's it.
So they kind of went in circles, which I liked.
But it frustrated Miz because he ran them down for underachieving and never winning the world title, reminding Kofi, for example, that he's never won Money in the Bank in his 6 attempts. He then puts over Big E for having everything it takes, but has never been taken seriously because he doesn't take himself seriously, and then praised Woods for his YouTube channel and tells him, imagine streaming as the world champion. New Day then eventually huddled, and then, okay, Kofi, it will be Big E, and then Woods says it'll be Big E versus Miz tonight as opposed to being part of the Money in the Bank match. Miz refused because he didn't get what he wanted by getting the answer for who'd be involved in Money in the Bank, so he ended up saying shame with pancakes.
Brilliant.
Until Miz bailed and Paige eventually put the match between the Miz and Big E. Then it was fine. It was fun. Like it's solved nothing as far as delivering the Money in the Bank. So it's the old bait and switch. If you like, I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be good if they kept it until Money in the Bank. Like they all come out and like, oh wait, and then did like a rock paper scissors thing or something like that. Yeah, something like that. Then the match between Miz and Big E, aka the Karate Kid Syrup. So, do you want me to explain that one as well?
No, it's okay. I get it.
You sure?
Yeah, I get it.
Good match overall. Like, you know, in the end, the ending felt a bit weird, where Miz countered the big ending, and they work on a double down. But then the Bar arrives and attacks Woods and Kofi. They distract Big E, and then Miz hits the final, the skull cushion finale for the win. So, Lana took on Billie Kay in the Money in the Bank qualifier. Before the match, it was Aiden English this time, singing Lana to the ring this time. Like, you know, and then try and promote Lana Day this time, and Lana's the best Lana #1. Yeah, I'm okay with it. Yeah, it's different. And then the Iconics come out mocking English, but they perform their own duets to a quite spectacularly horrible reaction, or cringy faces all the way, if you like. But then English then presented a Lana Day sign. Then Billie Kay got annoyed. They slapped him. Then Lana attacked Joyce. Then Kay attacked her, and then they rolled to the ring. Head kick, X Factor, win.
Yeah.
It's good, like, you know, it's like, imagine the thoughts.
I loved how shocked Billie Kay was when she got kicked in the head.
Oh, stop.
She was probably thinking, I'm so tall, how could you reach up that high?
Yeah. It was a great reaction from the crowds. The only thing is, Lana, because of her inexperience, is a good or bad thing. She's going to be in the Money in the Bank ladder match.
That's okay they can cover ways of her to.
That's true. That's true.
There's going to be enough women in the match that she won't have all the attention on her. So when she's doing her spots, they'll look good, and then she can just play off to the side when she needs to.
Imagine the thoughts of Rusev and Lana being Mr. and Mrs. Money in the Bank.
It'd be great, wouldn't it?
I don't think it'll happen, but it'll be some fancy booking.
Wouldn't be Rusev Day, it'd be Rusev Year. Happy Rusev Year.
That's it. Now, Andrade Cien Almas was back in action in a simple squash match. I don't even know the guy who's against. Jobby McJobberson, we'll call him that. Vega was out with Almas. Almas laughed at him and attacked him with strikes.
His name was actually Joe Burr, you know that, right?
Jobby McJobberson sounds so much better, though.
His name was Joe Burr.
Joe Burr?
Joe Burr.
Joe Burr? Oh, was it really?
No.
It seems so much more convincing.
Yeah.
Jobberson actually fought back into a bit of a crowd until almost killed him with a spinning back elbow, and then charging knees both to the front and back, and then the hammerlock DDT finished it off. Tranquilo. Then Carmella was backstage, interviewed with an Asuka mask, talking about the haters and how since she beat Charlotte twice, it makes her twice as good as Asuka, and she'll prove that eventually, because Mela is money. It's interesting, like, so, like, would it be weird, like, the way it's been booked, like, so this was announced, I think, the week before, wasn't it? It's when Asuka will be facing Carmella and Money in the Bank, right? So, can you imagine Asuka losing to Carmella? Like, I know the streak's all over, but still.
Don't know.
Yeah.
It's a difficult one.
It's a tricky one to book, isn't it?
I don't know what they're going to do with it. It's very interesting what could happen.
Now, the segment between AJ and Nakamura. Now, because that Nakamura beat Styles last week, it means that he gets to name a stipulation for their rematch at Money in the Bank. And they're both out, and Nakamura promises to destroy Styles, and he says the title will be his and SmackDown will be his house. Nakamura jokingly said it'll be a pillow fight. And then Styles said, oh, well, that means you're the king of soft style. Styles said Nakamura can't beat him when it counts, and that's why Nakamura takes cheap shots, and that he isn't the Nakamura that people wanted on SmackDown. They eventually brawl until Styles dismantles the table, but then Nakamura attacks with a chair. They brawl into the crowds, into ringside. Eventually, Nakamura lays him out with the Kinshasa, and he counts to 10, eventually confirming that it's going to be a last man standing match. So that was a good segment, and it sets up the match pretty well. Like, you know, like, I know we're not particularly happy with their all the matches they're having so far, or any of the matches they're having so far, but nevertheless, the way they set them up, is good all the same. So. Now, the Usos took on the Good Brothers in a SmackDown Tag Team Title Eliminator. Good promo to start between them, actually. Where was the Good Brothers saying, oh, we respect you, but you blew your Tag Team titles. It's going to be our time. The Usos said, well, this isn't Raw. This isn't Japan. This is Uso Penitentiary. I'm like, oh, what's the words we have for you guys? Oh, begins with an N. Leave it to you. You know the words, don't you? Nerds! They brawl straight away. Again, it was a good match. It was the Gallows tagged in and then gets cut off, but the Usos hit the top rope splash for 2 in a good near fall. Then Usos head back up the top, but then Anderson cuts off the double loose, and then the Magic Killer finishes there and then. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting challenge now. Like, do you think Good Brothers will be more fine challengers or sacrificial lambs for the Bludgeon Brothers? Because they seem like a more physically imposing tag team than the likes of a New Day or an Usos.
They might put up a fight, but they're not winning the titles.
Okay. Naomi took on the Sonya Deville in another Money in the Bank qualifier.
Wasn't that like their first match since they came over as well? I think they had a 6-man tag with like AJ at some point, but that was it.
It wasn't their first full-on tag team match, was it?
I don't think that was their only. That was their first full-on tag match.
I like the fact that they're being already in the SmackDown title bounce.
It kind of came out of nowhere though, really, didn't it?
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
So it's Sonya Deville versus Naomi. It was actually a very good match. Like, the ground thing is working a body scissors. Naomi tries to power up, but Deville hits a spine buster. They trade kicks and work into a double down. Deville then follows with knee strikes, but Naomi gets the pawn hold for the win. Perfectly fine match. Daniel Bryan versus Jeff Hardy in a second chance match. Bryan was interviewed before the match saying the second chance means everything, and last week he showed Big Cass what he could do and hypes the match between Jeff. Bryan puts him over. He loves a challenge, and he will make a Legends tap outs tonight. Joe's in commentary. This is, believe it or not, their first ever match ever between Jeff Hardy and Daniel Bryan.
Really?
Yep.
That's crazy.
It's hard to believe, isn't it? Because I think when he was coming over, like, Jeff Hardy was in TNA. I think
they always like cross paths. They never if one person went somewhere, the other one was somewhere else, and they never really got into the same
considering the time
place at the same time.
Considering the time it didn't have, was actually a quality main event. You know, Bryan fired away with the kick, stumps Jeff to the floor, but then Bryan missed the apron knee strike, and Jeff then hits the flying clothesline. Jeff then hits the twist of fate, but then gets kneed in the swanton. The landing for that was nasty. You remember seeing that? Then
that's unfortunately that's the way that he has to do his swanton now on. He has to land with his pretty much on the opponent.
Can you not have his legs planted just before though, or in the way where it's perfect?
Unfortunately, that's the way he has to do it.
It's not easy, is it?
Yeah.
They fight over a backslide, but then Bryan dragon screws the leg and hooks on a knee bar to make Jeff tap out. It was a really good match, as I said, though, because that's a match you want to see in pay-per-view. That's the type of rivalry you want to see, because like Bryan gets to win, and they lay claim to a US title shots given if Bryan isn't successful. Like, you know. But more importantly, it gives another chance to get into Money in the Bank. But and Joe is good on commentary, like, you know, he's excellent all the way, like, the way, as far as I can see, especially when he hypes the match after, saying, Bryan, don't celebrate, you have to face me next week, like, and they'll make Bryan go to sleep. So it's definitely an intriguing match, and that's a match that goes back years. Like, you want to talk about a match that has never happened before. Joe and Bryan, they must have had matches for years in the Indies.
Yes, for years.
Come back to the Ring of Honor days.
I think they said, like, what was it, 2014 was the last time they had a match?
2014.
Was it 14?
Can't be that. No, it must be longer than that.
Or 4, maybe? 4.
2004.
2004.
Makes more sense.
Yeah, 2004.
That's a match. You talk about a match for pay-per-view. That's a match that hopefully will happen in the future anyway. Now, 205 Live, and let's just talk about all this now. So, Drew Gulak took on Gran Metalik. Jack Gallagher and Brian Kendrick were at ringside for this match, but it was a good opener. It's an interesting mix of styles, and that's what's really intriguing about 205 Live, with a great mix of styles. Like you see a lot of high flying wrestlers such as the Lucha House, that they're calling themselves, the Kalistos, the Gran Metaliks, and the Lince Dorados, against the more technical wrestlers like a Jack Gallagher or a Drew Gulak. So that's what makes this match more intriguing. And Gulak is in such a role right now. I think he's easily one of the most over guys in 205 at the moment. Yeah. And he's earned a spot in the UK tournaments, like, you know, despite his nationality, in my opinion. Yeah. Like, you know, he's definitely in there for sure. Anyway, it ended when some really good spots where Metalik hit a coast to host rope walk drop kick for 2. Like, he was almost halfway down the rope when he hit it. Yeah. But then Metalik eats feet on the moonsault, and then Gulak traps in the Gulak and makes Metalik tap out to that. And then there's a bit of a tease of a reunion between Gulak, Kendrick, and Gallagher. Yeah, and that's a stable I want to see, because they all have very similar mindsets when you think about it. Yeah, so it'll work very sure. Now, TJ Perkins took on a Christopher Guy 1-on-1. It was pretty much a squash match. Desperation kick followed by a curve stomp and a detonation kick. And it was TJP who cut off a desperation drop kick from Guy and then finished him off with his detonation kick. But after the match, he vented his frustrations, feeling that he's unappreciated since reinventing cruiserweight wrestling, and says management doesn't think much of him, judging by the competition he was given him tonight. So, given his character, do you think he has a point?
Possibly.
Yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys who he wrestles well, but he's there if we need him.
Yeah.
But I think in his case, like, well, you could do more for him.
Isn't that like we said that about Braun, we said that about Finn, but isn't that like the worst worst position to be in? Wouldn't you want to be like in the main event or in a program? You don't want to just be there if they need you. You want to be there all the time. But the point because they always want you.
But the point is, it's similar to what Rusev has gone through on Smackdown as well. They are over enough where surely there has to be something has to be done. You can't not have this pop or this thing going on without something not being answered for in the future. Maybe TJ Perkins is not the best example in that because he's not as over.
Yeah,
but he's there at the same time. No reason why he couldn't be in the cruiserweight title picture later on. Buddy Murphy and Cedric Alexander cut promos for their title match next week. Cedric Alexander in particular said that he isn't feeling the pressure of being champion because he feels he has all the support he needs. So, which is interesting. Like, it's a nice outlook for being champion. So it shows he's a good face champion for sure. Now, Hideo Itami took on Akira Tozawa. Now, Tozawa puts over Itami as a legend, but he says he no longer respects him. They had a bit of a falling out in their tag match last week, apparently.
They did, yeah. Itami is just not. Well, he's not fond of Tozawa anymore because they had a few losses.
He's basically the Minoru Suzuki of the 205 Live. He's like the grumpy old Japanese dad, if you like. So. But no, it was a really good match. There was some really good spots in this match. Like, there was that superplex turned into a Falcon Arrow. That was you never see that in WWE. You rarely ever see that. So impressive. But then Tozawa missed the big senton. Hadami hits the corner drop kick and then hit off a rolling knee stunner for the win. I actually like that move. It's cool. I like the variation finishes. I like a finish you don't know the name of. Something like that.
You have to think of your own name for it. So you think of a name for it there, Dave, why don't you? Because you've thought of a lot of things today.
Yeah, but I'm not prepared for this one, so I don't know. I don't know what to call this one. Maybe, I don't know, the Don Fuji. There you go. Don Fuji is also a grumpy old man from Japan. So that's why I called him that.
Don Fuji, there you go.
There you go. But it played well. It was a quality match, though, so hopefully that rivalry continues. Moving on to NXT. TM61 took on Heavy Machinery 1-on-1. This was a good match, and again, you still feel TM61 are I love their change of attitude now because they really need it.
They're a bit of a heel team now, aren't they?
But they're picking up momentum from it, like, you know.
Yeah.
And like I saw that, I like their choice of attire coming in. They were wearing like Aussie Rules sort type shirts.
Yeah.
Like, not the tag team, but the sports. No.
They always did, didn't they?
Did they?
Yeah,
with the numbers in the back, maybe I didn't notice before, maybe. So
yeah, it might be.
So it looked like they're actual teams from wherever, like, so.
Yeah.
But it was a good match. I love when Otis does the worm. How class is that when he does that? Yeah, elbow drop. But in the end, it was Otis hit the exploder, looked for a Vader splash, but then Mills cut him off, and then Thorne cradled him into the ropes for the heelish win, with the help of the ropes for the heelish win.
Yeah.
Lacey Evans took on Kairi Sane 1-on-1. This was actually a good match. What I really like about this match is that I think Lacey Evans is actually coming into her own now a bit now.
She's starting to get a bit more of a push too, which is
but great. More to the point, the way her character is now, the way she's found herself in that heel role now.
Yeah.
You know how we see so many wrestlers and we're not sure where they fit in. It seems certain of where she is right now, and this rivalry with Kairi Sane is really helping her. This was her best performance so far.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, like it was Kairi Sane who looked like she was going to pick up the win again, but then Lacey hit an elbow off the steps. Kairi Sane hit the elbows off the step, but then Sane back on top and then landed the KO shot as she was coming down, and that was that. So it was a good win. Now, Lars Sullivan took on Velveteen Dream and Ricochet. After last week where Lars Sullivan ruined the match between Dream and Ricochet. I heard that was a very good match, actually.
It was a great match.
Yeah, and it's an interesting match because these are three guys who you think could be in the run for NXT title shot in the future.
Yeah.
And it was a really good match. Like that diving headbutt from Lars, by the way, which looks all more impressive because of his size.
Mm-hmm.
It was scary to look at. But then it was some really good tag teams. It ended then when Dream hit a high cross and then Ricochet hit a running super star press for 2. Dream in and they double teamed and then Ricochet hit the spinboard 450. But then Dream turned on Ricochet with his rolling DVD. And then Dream...
It's rolling what?
DVD.
Oh, Death Valley Driver.
Yep.
I thought you said DDT. You know?
And Dream called Ricochet pathetic and said he was screwing him. Then Dream bailed and then Lars hit the freak accident on Ricochet for that. For a handicap match, this was class.
Yeah. Have you heard the story going around of what's happening now?
No.
In terms of matchups for Chicago?
Mm-mm.
No?
No, give us an idea.
Do you want to get that elevator music?
Oh, yes. I'm waiting to play this actually for a while. Those were all class matches, actually. God, I'm waiting to play the Ricochet music for 2 weeks.
The elevator music, you mean?
The elevator music, yeah. What did I say before?
The Ricochet music.
Elevator music. I don't know, it sounds similar. But anyway, as I was saying, this handicap match was good because Ricochet and Dream worked together before Dream turned on Ricochet, and then and Lars plays Monster very well. He's very like Braun Strowman, that he plays the Monster very well, like, you know. So
he is, yeah. He's really come into his own the last 6 months.
Absolutely. A lot of backstage stuff was in the midst as well on this week. They had a nice pre-taped interview with Bianca Belair, claiming she's the hottest woman in the whole division and plans to keep proving it next week. And she is a fantastic wrestler. They've
gotten themselves a really good female division. They've picked a lot of great
women from the Mae Young Classic.
From the Mae Young Classic, yeah.
And it's going to get better as well because
there's another one coming in the summer too, yeah.
Yeah. They're following up their win last week. Only Lorcan and Danny Burch feel they earned a tag title shots, which could be the case. Mm-hmm. Backstage, Undisputed Era gets some promo segment. Say that Pete Dunne, Only Lorcan and Danny Burch were lucky last week, and O'Reilly blames Dunne for giving 2 non-bodies their chance to shine, and he wants Burch 1-on-1 next week. Also, it's confirmed that Shayna Baszler will defend her women's title against Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai says she wants a title shot for years and finally gets a chance of her dream match. And then Shayna arrives to scare her and runs her down, saying she has no chance. And Kai just simply says, "We'll see about that."
Yeah.
To confuse Shayna. So it seems like, is she playing possum with the whole scare tactics, you mean?
Could be.
She does it so well if that's the case.
She does, yeah. She's like she's trying to be like a cornered animal.
Literally.
You know? Yeah.
Now, the segments between Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae and Tommaso Ciampa. He had Johnny Gargano on a neck brace as they made their way to the ring, and they got a great reaction, as they always do. And they said they've been thinking, like they've been doing this their whole life, and they realised something, they need to think about their future. And he asked himself if it's worth it to keep going after Ciampa, because the injuries add up and it takes a toll on the family, friends, and blah, 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 blah. He rips off the neck brace and says it's totally worth it. Calls him out to the begs of Candice LeRae to not do it. Ciampa comes out and saying if Johnny's still here, he will finish this. Refs try to separate them, then Candice tries to talk Johnny out of it. And then when it looks like he's going away, then Ciampa tells Johnny, be a good little boy and listen to your wife. Johnny then rushes to the ring, but then Ciampa knocks him back and onto Candice, who is unconscious in the middle of the floor. And it adds another layer to the story. It's already a class story.
Yeah.
It's now taking an emotional toll with Candice being injured, so it just works so well. It's beautiful stuff, man.
Aww.
It really is. It brings a tear to your eye. Well, when I say it, the point is there another rivalry in wrestling that you're more invested in right now? The exception of All In.
No.
Actually, All In, you could even say, is seconds to this. Well, it's tough, isn't it? Because we see so much of it on YouTube.
I guess because it's so prevalent and it's probably the best thing NXT are running at the moment.
Best thing WWE are doing.
Yeah,
period.
True. Yeah. Very true. But, yeah. I think that What was I going to say? I'm very sorry, I've lost my way. I think, yes, it is the best sort of storyline that they have in wrestling at the moment. I can't think of another one, really, can I?
No, I can't
Unless
either.
this Will Ospreay, Jordan Devlin thing comes in.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have to see what happens with that in the future. But anyway, that's all the results of the week. When we return, we will have our previews of the week, including having a chat with Lee Calahane over CCW and Daniel Butch Gannon over OTT.
In the future, roving bands of comic book podcasts will savage the wasteland, once known as the Internet. One podcast, the Grawlix Podcast, may not be the biggest, may not be the funniest, may not be the most well-spoken. Wait, what was my point again? Oh yes, the Grawlix Podcast. Listen to it at grawlixpodcast.com. That's GRAWLIX podcast.com.
We're back here on The Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guides. Now let's continue on our show now with our previews of the week.
Why, look at what we have here, folks!
So first of all, we're going to talk about Celtic Championship Wrestling, who are back for their biggest show of the year in Revolution 6, which takes place next Saturday, June 2nd, at the Common Inns Hotel in Cork. To tell us more about now, joining us on the line is CCW promoter Lee Calahane. Lee, thanks for joining us again, The Kickout. It's been a while, hasn't it?
It's been a while, David, but you know what, glad to be here.
Absolutely, we're glad to have you back. Forgive us for the delay, but it's glad to finally have you back, and finally have you back for your biggest show of the year, in Revolution 6.
Yeah, the road to Revolution is truly well done, and we're ready to kickstart one of the biggest shows we've ever done. So we're looking forward to it. We're excited.
Absolutely. So, and it has all the makings of an awesome card coming up. Now, before I bring up any of the confirmed matches, I'd just like to get your perspective on an issue that's concerning yourself and your former teammates from the establishment, Lycan. Now, it's come to understanding there's been a bit of an issue between the two of you, and as of late, Lycan has challenged yourself to a death match. Now, do you wish to address that situation at the moment, or what is the current status of everything going on there?
I'll keep it very brief on the subject, really,
okay.
Dave. I've told the CCW fans that I will address this tomorrow, or should I say Friday night at the press conference. Mm-hmm. So I don't know when this airs. This is going to air the day after, I guess. So I will have had addressed it the night before at the press conference. So, all I can say is, Jack Voice and Lycan have been holding me back for too long, and enough is enough.
Okay, well, we'll see what the situation is. As you said, so your press conference is happening on Friday, also in the Common Inns Hotel. So I presume it's not just that situation, but all the other matches will be addressed one final time for that as well, right?
Yeah, of course. It's going to be a full panel. There'll be representative of every match pretty much on the card. You're going to have the Armstrongs, the tag team champions, are going to be there. Mm-hmm. You're going to have Therapy are going to be there. Mm-hmm. Billy Bedlam, Raven Creek, Gunter Isaac. Mm-hmm. You're going to have the CCW All-Star champion, Vic Viper. You're going to have Ricky Combat there, Steve Savage, and others as well. Flight Mode are going to be there. Pretty much a member of at least every match, bar maybe the Doug Williams and Paul Tracy match, are going to be at the press conference. They're going to be talking about Revolution 6. They're going to be talking about breaking down each match, and also as well there's going to be a Q&A session with local media and press. Fans are invited as well. So it's going to be, it's going to be an interesting one. And of course, yes, I will highlight the challenge that Lycan's made to me. And that and so much more. Absolutely. So it'll be exciting ahead for any fans and members of the CCW fan base to be able to check that out. So obviously the first match I want to address is you have a 20-man battle royale in commemoration for Dan O'Mahony. Now, for those who have never heard of Dan O'Mahony, what has he contributed to CCW or Irish wrestling in the past, and what does the ramifications mean for this battle royale? Well, I suppose given our geographical location, we're based here in Cork, and we're quite proud that the first ever, I suppose, wrestling world heavyweight champion came from Cork, and he came from a town that's only, I suppose, 10 kilometres away from where I am, and in a little town called Ballyhob, and his name was Dan O'Mahony. Mm-hmm. And I suppose back in the 30s, he would win the first ever Irish man anyway to ever hold a world heavyweight title. That championship would be later known as the NWA's world title. Okay. So, yeah, I suppose for that reason we'd like to pay homage to Dan O'Mahony, and by bringing in the Dan O'Mahony Memorial Trophy.
Absolutely, it's a very fitting memorial for someone who has such an esteemed history, as you said, like a former NWA World Champion. Is there an idea of what members of the CCW roster will be involved in the match?
Yeah, of course. So far confirmed, we're going to have members of Therapy, Billy Bedlam and Gunter Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have tag teams in it like Redemption. We're going to have Flight Mode.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have the Nintendo. You're going to have J Money, I think has been confirmed for it. You're going to have Giordano from International Wrestling Syndicate in Canada. You're going to have there's a lot of guys in it, a lot of big names. Steve Savage is going to be in it as well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's going to be a big one. More names are going to be announced as the week progresses. But the winner takes home the trophy.
Absolutely, so definitely an intriguing match. All your titles are on the line, of course, on the card. A very interesting matches between Vic Viper, the reigning CCW All-Star Champion, to take on the Ballymun Bruiser. Now, I saw their the promo for this beforehand, and they go back a few years, and so it's almost like a friendly rivalry between the two of them going into this match.
Yeah, I think that obviously you're always going to want to have the best match you possibly can against someone that you've cut your teeth with in the business.
Mm-hmm.
No bullshit in this one, really. It's just two guys that are going out there to have a great match. It's going to be interesting to see if that's the way it's going to materialise at Revolution 6. We know what Vic Viper's capable of, and we know what he's like, especially with his lackeys, Redemption members, Jacob and Amos. So, are they going to get involved in the match, or is it going to be a straight-up affair? Who knows? Are we going to see a new All-Star champion? We'll see Revolution 6.
You never know. Well, sometimes the best matches are between friends. Like sometimes the friends are the ones who hit you the hardest. So in that case, it could be that type of match. So it could be very much like that. Or who knows, like as you mentioned, the Vic Viper's associates could be involved in that as well. Probably one of the most intriguing rivalries or most intense rivalries in not just CCW but in all Irish wrestling for us, certainly us in the KKO, has been between Raven Creed and Debbie Cattell. And looks like they're finally going to go for the final chapter here for their women's championship. How have you found their rivalry in particular in CCW?
Well, this rivalry started off at Revolution 5, so here we are a year later. Mm-hmm. Great booking. I don't know. Thanks, Dave.
I take no credit for it whatsoever.
It's going to be a great match. These girls have literally tore it up. They were a part of the female event that OTT did as well. So they're getting that experience in other promotions as well. But certainly this rivalry was born in CCW, and look, it's only I suppose it's only proper that it should end in CCW. So yeah, I mean it's great to see both women doing so well, and I think the match at Revolution 6 is going to reflect exactly how far they've come in their wrestling journey. So it's going to be a classic. It's going to be one of the best matches in the card, and really looking forward to seeing it.
I certainly can't wait to check it out when I get the chance. Because for us, every time we've seen them live, they've always had a barn burner. Like whether it's here in Dublin or obviously over in Cork, like especially their ladder match at the Ladder Wars recently. So it should be an awesome match to finally end the rivalry. A very intriguing match then is between Doug Williams, who recently became Progress Atlas champion last week. Will take on the Lord of the Manor himself, Paul Tracy, in a very intriguing match. It's a match that is one of these matches that you think probably has happened, but actually hasn't happened to such an Irish soil.
It's never happened in Irish soil, and in fact, it's been a decade since it's actually happened.
Oh, really?
So it's been 10 years since it happened.
Wow!
Since they fought wrestled once before, and that was 10 years ago. So this kind of match is your typical two legends having an exhibition match. This isn't about rivalries. This isn't about feuds or anything like that. This is just two of the best in the world just going at it.
Absolutely, it's definitely an intriguing match. Especially 10 years in the making from their first match. So definitely an interesting match.
And look, it's great to finally, it's great to have Doug back. Anyway, we had him at Revolution last year as well. But also, it's great to finally be able to get Paul Tracy, and he's one of those Irish wrestling icons, I suppose, that we haven't met in 6 years, which is crazy if you think about it. But, you know, just things didn't work out in the past when we tried to bring him in. So it's just amazing to have him on board. And especially in the match that he's going to be taking on Doug Williams, it's going to be an amazing one.
Absolutely. It's definitely an intriguing match ahead. Like, obviously, that's a match that, as you mentioned, doesn't have such any rivalry as such. The tag title match, on the other hand, does have a bit of rivalry going into it. The Armstrongs, who are doing very well as CCW Tag Team Champions, will take on probably their toughest challenge to date, no disrespect, against Rough Stuff. Like, and these are two teams that are really making a big name for themselves lately.
Yeah, definitely. Again, you know, the Armstrongs are getting that push around the country as well. Rough Stuff too. And, you know, the whole story behind this is the fact that, you know, in December, the Armstrongs won the championships. And, you know, since then they've been on a whirlwind. But, you know, Rough Stuff, I suppose, their argument in this scenario really is the fact that they've never been pinned by the Armstrongs. In fact, they've never been pinned by anyone, and they have 2 victories over the Armstrongs.
That's true.
So at Revolution 6, are we going to see Rough Stuff go 3-0, or are the Armstrongs going to retain the titles and finally get that victory, proving that they are indeed the best tag team champions that we have to offer right now? I don't know. It's going to be a good one, but it's just going to be a flat-out brawl, really, at this stage, because Rough Stuff have been talking about taking those tag team belts since they came in just over a year ago. So, you know, it's definitely going to be another drag-out brawl.
It certainly puts the Armstrongs in a tricky position because, because of their record against Rough Stuff, they'd be look on to this match as the underdogs. Would you agree with that?
100%, and I think, you know, it's fair to say that, you know, the Armstrongs are underdogs in majority of their matches. But you know what? It's just the tag team chemistry that they have is just unparalleled. So it's going to be a great match. Each match that you watch the Armstrongs compete in, and you know, I've been in there with them a few times as well, and you know, I have to give them props. Like, they're just getting better and better each match. So, and I think the same is to be said for Rough Stuff. I mean, Rough Stuff are just a dominant tag team.
Absolutely.
And, you know, they're just two beasts. So, you know, when you're having a match with Rough Stuff, and certainly you know that the Armstrongs are going to be having to plan out a plan of attack for this one, because it's not going to be just one of those matches where you're going to be technical. It's just going to be a match of survival more so. Absolutely.
Well, it's definitely an intriguing match for sure. Like to see who the better tag team is in CCW. And of course, the main event for the vacant CCW heavyweight title, vacated by Pastor William Eaver in a fatal 4-way elimination match. Now, this was all the contestants of this match were brought into this match due to the tournament you had at your most recent show. And so you have Ricky Combat, Danny Butler, Lewis Garvin and Justy competing to become the next ECW champion. Like, so who do you think going into this match, or about all the 4 participants, what qualities do you think each person brings to this match to give each other an advantage from the other, let's say?
Yeah, I suppose, look, each guy comes in with a story. You know, Big League Justy, he's the guy who came in, you know, last year and, you know, said he's going to take CCW to the big leagues, and, you know, that we were a Bush League promotion. You know, he's going to want to go in there and he's going to want to come out with the championship, because if not, you know, just, you know, he's had matches with the likes of Ricky Combat, Danny the Beast, you know, he's feuding with Danny the Beast Butler right now, because these two guys are literally beating the crap out of each other every show. So that's going to be an interesting dichotomy between the two of them. But yeah, Justy, you know, he's brash, he's arrogant, and you know, he's hungry to win that championship, because, you know, where does he go afterwards if he doesn't win the championship? It'll be interesting to see. But Danny the Beast Butler, of course, though, their paths are coinciding with each other. I think it's going to be pretty easy to know who's going for who at the start of this matchup. So again, you know, Danny's been on a pretty good run as of late. It wasn't long ago that he was the CCW All-Star champion.
That's true.
Who knows, will he walk out as the CCW heavyweight champion? Only time will tell. The story of Lewis Garvin, you know, what can I say? A guy who hadn't had a victory all year and finally managed to get a roll-up on the Ballymun Bruiser at P2 Pain Spotting. You know, could the Cinderella story happen? Who knows, maybe. But, you know, he finds himself in a pretty good position now in that fatal 4-way elimination match. And then finally, you know, a former heavyweight champion in Ricky Combat, you know, I guess, he's been the kind of the poster child for CCW over the years, and what would it mean for him to finally raise his second championship reign? So we'll see.
As you said, all four of them have very intriguing stories going in, so it's just a matter of time to see how it all pans out. So it's definitely an intriguing title match for sure. So for those who don't know where you can get tickets, where can you get tickets for the event?
Yeah, tickets are available at eventbrite.ie. It's CCW Revolution 6. You can, I think there's limited. I think there's a few VIP left, but yeah, get down to the Commons Inn Hotel, Cork City Centre. There's a bus that goes from the city centre anyway to the Commons Inn. It's only about 5 minutes out the road. So yeah, it's going to be a good one from top to bottom. It is an absolute stacked card. It's a who's who of Irish wrestling, and we really focused strongly on Irish talent as well on this card. We do have some wrestlers from Switzerland and Canada and Scotland and other parts of the UK. Doug Williams obviously from England, but we've really concentrated on a lot of Irish talent and the top of the Irish talent. So yeah, it's going to be a good one. I advise any fans, whether you're from Cork or whether they're from Limerick or whether they're from Dublin or Northern Ireland, get down to CCW Revolution 6 because we're going to be giving you absolutely everything we have.
That's an awesome show. Definitely a good promise there to anyone looking to check out you guys. So obviously, Lee, thank you. All the best and more for the show, CCW Revolution 6, and all the best in the press conference beforehand. And we hope to talk to you again soon.
Yeah, cheers, Dave. And if you don't mind, I'd like to plug as well. One more cheap plug, the On Demand as well. CCW On Demand. Go to www.ccwofficial.com. If you can't make the show, check out our backlog of shows there. We've also got loads of promotions from around the globe there, including Joel Ryan's Bar Wrestling and, PCW from the UK. They're all on our channel as well. So, yeah, if you want to see, any of the last shows or Revolution 6 on demand, then go to ccwofficial.com. Thanks a million, Dave.
No problem at all. Thank you very much. So next up, we're going to talk about Over the Top Wrestling, who are back for another double weekend. First of all, they'll be back in the Tivoli Theatre on Saturday, 2nd of June for A Haven of Monsters. And then they'll be continuing on to the Europa Hotel in Belfast on June 3rd for their live show in Belfast. And to tell us more about it now, joining us on the line, OTT commentator, or announcer I should say, Daniel Gannon, aka Butch. Butch, thanks for joining us once again here in the Kickouts.
No problem. It's always a pleasure to do these little spiels, get to preview what's going to happen next week. So, exciting time. It can
be a good spiel, as you say, anyway. So, first of all, A Haven of Monsters, that has this is on the back now of the very successful event in Scrappermania now. So it seems like now it's building new bridges now to the next few months now going down.
Yeah. It's a pretty stacked show. We always really seem to go all out on the shows after the stadium. Last Scrappermania, we had Marvel Zone Act 1, which had Matt Riddle, Marty Sterl, Donovan Dijak, Kyle O'Reilly, a who's who of people. And this, I think we got probably one of the most sought after independent talents in Ulster on the show.
Absolutely.
So I think us getting him is huge, and that's kind of attracted the attention.
Absolutely, you're right, because he's one of the most sought. I couldn't agree more. He's definitely very sought after talent across Europe, not just Europe, but all over the world at the moment. So we could start on his match, for example. Himself and Low Key will be taking on OTT World Champion and David Starr. I'm very intrigued in particular with Walter and David Starr, because they seem to have a rivalry across the entire world right now, particularly in Europe.
Oh yeah, it's a thing of Walter always gets the better of David Starr. So I think it's very interesting, and this is kind of another layer onto it. David Starr just has not been able to put him away. Could this be the match he actually puts him away, and then maybe the next time they'll meet one-on-one, wherever that is, that could have major implications for that,
Absolutely, because
and Low Key, coming to OTT, he's been a big indie talent for a few years now. Well, for many years, and I don't know. Is it long overdue that he's here? Because I'm sure we probably tried to get it before, but it's good that he's here now. And he's got a good teammate, Walter. Then if Jordan Devlin, who likes to, kill imports, and maybe he sees this as two other imports that got to kill, but I'm probably going to get killed in the process, because Walter is, he goes all out. He just, oh my God.
Nice.
You've seen his chops.
I can only imagine, I've only seen a handful of his matches now, but all the same, it'd be especially when in somewhere like the Tivoli, where I imagine the acoustics of the place will really bring out the sound more in his chops, so that makes it more intriguing. Whoever gets receiving end from it. So some other good matches coming up. Obviously, the return of Team White Wolf, A-Kid and Adam Chase, they'll be back. I think this is their first time going to be wrestling in the Tivoli. They'll be taking on the team of Darren Carney and Nathan Martin and More Than Hype. A very intriguing match.
Oh, yeah, it is. Also, Darren Carney's first appearance on our main OTT show. Nathan Martin, a bit familiar with the Tivoli, but he has not wrestled there this year. And yeah, it's going to be good. White Wolf versus Legit 100 at that time was an incredible match. And More Than Hype have just been building a lot of momentum recently. People have gotten to know the real Darren Carney now, because he was always a great wrestler, but he was very, very quiet, and now he's getting his personality out, which makes him that bit better. And Nathan Martin, he's just going mad. People seem to love that.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's definitely a very intriguing match. All the guys aren't even in their primes yet, so that makes it imagine how much better the match will be if they continue having the rivalry later on. That's what makes an awesome match. Going back to More Than Hype, LJ Cleary will be defending his OTT gender-neutral title in a very intriguing match. Well, it was originally supposed to be against Chris Wolf and Trent Seven, but unfortunately Trent Seven picked up an injury over the last few weeks, so his fellow British Strong Style member Tyler Bate will take his place, but that's a very good match all the same. LJ Cleary against Chris Wolf and Tyler Bate.
Yeah, Chris Wolf, it's great that she's getting the chance at the gender neutral belt. It just seems like a belt that really suits her, Then you have LJ who's latching on to that like it's his baby, and he's been defending it well, even though he's only had 2 defenses. They've been both great matches, and he's come across the victor, and there's no he's been doing it in great fashion. And also you've Tyler Bates there, who was in the Golden Contract match. A man who everyone loves seeing Tyler Bate at OTT. It's just like a nice, refreshing thing. Just seeing him and him back in the Tivoli. And to my knowledge, last time he was in the Tivoli was July last year for Born to Be Raced, when he went up against Dijak, Calahane, and Keith Lee.
I remember that, yeah. That was actually a class match, actually, yeah. So it goes to show you, it goes to show you, some guys who we almost have seen before in OTT, and it's like, oh wow, that was the last time we seen them. So it goes to show you, how some have moved on, such as the Tyler Bate is doing very well in WWE, for example. Now, a match I'm particularly intrigued about is Be Cool to take on Dan Barry. Now, I myself have never heard of Dan Barry before this, so for those who are listening who may never have heard of him, would you know much about him going into this match against a fan favourite such as Be Cool?
I've heard of him, yeah. He's a wrestler / comedian, so he does a lot of comedy work, so saying there probably imply that that's why him and Be Cool could be a very good match, because, Cool is known for, other than his fantastic athleticism, he is one of the funniest and most entertaining wrestlers out there. And I don't even say in Ireland, I say in the world, every time you watch him, he's just, you just die with laugh, what he says, and what he does. Dan Barry, I think, is pretty much the same as that over in the UK, and not the States. And yeah, this could be entertaining. This could be very, very good.
Yeah, if it certainly has all the comic prospects of that match, it would be cool being funny enough, but hadn't this Dan Barry character into it as well, could be easily one of the funniest matches we see this year. If it promises all this comedy in it.
He's kind of doing a little tour to Europe and the UK, because it's his last year in wrestling.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So it could be one of the last.
No, it could be very entertaining.
Absolutely. Now, of the Damien Corvin now will be taking. This is probably his first singles match in OTT in God knows how long, but he's going to take on the returning Sean Guinness, who's just come back from Japan, has been and was involved in Contenders Just Gone. That's a very intriguing one-on-one match, because a lot of people certainly say that if anyone from the Kings of the North could do well as a singles winner, it could be Corvin. This is his chance to show that against a veteran such as Guinness.
Yeah, the thing with Corvin is he's always thinking of these mad ideas to doing matches that could, like, help the outcome, that could, like, you know, that could help him win, like, you know. So, I've always loved him when he's been doing singles stuff. I've seen him do it before. Last time he was in a singles match, I think
it was Chris Brooks.
July as well, Born to be Wasted, when he went up against Chris Brooks. So, I think this is going to be a good one, because this match first happened on the first ever OTT show. Maxter versus Corvin, and it was good. It was one of the matches of the night, like, and you know, the two lads, they work well together. It's gonna be good. Like, it's gonna be one of them matches that people are gonna be taken back by and goes, whoa, I did not expect that to be match of the night. You know what I mean?
It could easily be, especially for two guys who know themselves very well, as you say. But, like, a really intriguing match now that I think is Mark Haskins, who of course recently won the Golden Contract at Scrappermania. Him and the returning Pete Dunne and a mystery partner will take on the tag team champions, The Rapture, in a 6-man tag team match. Is this for the tag titles first and foremost, actually?
I think it is, yeah, because like, these are, I believe so, because Haskins and Pete Dunne are no strangers to OTT. Pete Dunne, very, very high praise on social media about how OTT is the Tivoli is his favourite wrestling venue to wrestle at. So, he has been a champion in OTT before, but he wants to be it again. Haskins, he's the same. I think Haskins at this stage is, and you've seen in the past 2 months, he doesn't really care about people too much. He just cares about coming in, winning matches and going home. Like, he's just, like, Haskins does this because he has a family to be, like, and, you know, he has a potential family to be too, like, with his girlfriend getting pregnant and him. It's fantastic, like, someone like Pete Dunne becoming a father, like.
Yeah, I heard about that, so it's pretty awesome.
With his demeanour, but no, it could be good, and I'm interested to see who their third man is.
Any idea who it could be?
Well, it's definitely not me.
It could be Foxy.
Foxy, though.
Foxy's on the streak.
He did well in the Don Folk Open Challenge, so
that's it.
Might need to build up on his momentum.
Yeah, that's it. We were talking about it on the show this week, actually. We were like, oh, well, you know, he's on the streak now. I mean, why not continue it? So we work that way.
Yeah.
We'll have to see what happens. Anyway, moving on to the Belfast show then. Some pretty good matches there as well. Obviously, Pete Dunne was going to be in Belfast as well, and he's going to take on Belfast Adam Maxted. That's a very good match, actually. Like, because Adam Maxted's one of the most improved wrestlers out there.
Maxted has just been proving himself, like, for the past number of years, and it's fantastic to see him do that. I don't know. It's fun. I'm a big fan of Max. I love him. I think he's like, what's great about him, he is, no matter when he withdraw, he will go around. What could he do better? What better this time? So it's a lot easier for him if he gets, rather than. But he's fantastic. Like, his work rate is amazing. His athleticism is on the chart. Definitely the best shot I've ever seen in person by Maxted.
Really? Compared to other professors?
I don't know, like, a lot of people say O'Cala has a good one, but I think Maxted is up there. The height he gets from the floor to someone sitting on the second rope,
that's a good point, actually. Yeah, that's a good point.
He's going up against Pete Dunne. He's going up against the Cruiserweight, and I think this is a match that he deserves. And I think no matter if he wins or loses, Pete Dunne's definitely going to have respect for Maxted.
Definitely an intriguing match all the same. Of course, the guys from White Wolf will also be down there in Belfast, and they'll be taking on the team of Sean Guinness and Scotty Davis. And that's an interesting match now because, like, as opposed to Morton Hype, you have someone like Guinness and Davis who are like a nice experience of a nice mix of youth and experience going up against the guys from AAA.
Yeah, like this is interesting. I think back in Ireland now. He's back for his longest stint in ages. Don't know how long it's for. Hopefully it is for a while now because it's great to have him around with the Irish team booming. Then he's Scotty Davis, and Scotty Davis is just off the charts.
Mm-hmm.
And they're both two off the charts people, like wrestling wise, and White Wolf. They're on something else. Like, they're only young kids and they're doing so much for the wrestling scene in Spain, which doesn't really have much of it until White Wolf decided to go give it a hand, and they've got some huge names over there thanks to them two boys and putting it on the map, you know.
I did. Though I've heard so much. I was in Madrid last weekend, and I've heard so much about Triple W over there. Like, you know, so like they're really like they had guys like really big indie guys such as Ricochet wrestled for them before. So, and they have a very interesting style. Like, it's a lot of lucha libre wrestling, like what they present to their to their matches here. So it's definitely worth checking out if you're ever over there. So I never actually checked their match, but they're certainly making a name for themselves. So like they're definitely an up and coming promotion for sure. Some really good rematches coming up. Obviously, one in particular, Jordan Devlin against Tyler Bates. 1-on-1. Now, for me, Jordan Devlin versus Tyler Bates, I think this was 2 years ago, maybe more. Is still my favorite one of my favorite OTT matches. So it's great to see them finally have a rematch, and it'll certainly be very, very interesting to see what they present now, so much longer later after their first match.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic to see this match again, because every time they've gone up against each other, it's been fantastic. And I'm just so happy that they're having another match. And Tyler Bate is just fantastic. Jordan Devlin's fantastic. It's going to be a great match, definitely. And with the belt on the line, you never know how it's going to go.
Absolutely. And like a rubber match is also going to be happening at OTT Belfast. Tucker versus Curtis Murray. Now, these guys are 1-on-1 against each other, so finally they're going to decide a rivalry once and for all in Belfast as well. That's a very intriguing match as well.
Yeah, 1-1, and this is the rubber match they've always thought after. They've been on after for a few months, and Tucker's he's on this kind of new mean streak in OTT, and he really wants to prove himself now, as he is going off to Download Festival to go up in the WWE UK Tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, he's going up against Joe Coffey, who's no stranger to OTT himself. So I think he just wants something to prove. Curtis wants something to prove. You know, he's gaining the attention of people like Will Ospreay, and they're pretty much they were partners at Contenders. So yeah, he's really got a lot to prove as well, because he wants to like prove to his now peers about like that what he can do, and he definitely wants to prove Tucker who the better man is.
Absolutely. So it's definitely a very intriguing match of because both, as you said, both have a lot to prove both to each other and to their opponents. So definitely an intriguing match. And of course, the big rematch then for the tag team titles. The Kings of the North back in Belfast to once again challenge the Rapture for the tag team titles. So that's like that. You never know, because it's in Belfast. The home court advantage could easily go in their favour in this match.
Yeah, last time these teams faced each other, it was in the Kings' hometown. The Rapture got the victory there, so that was their first loss in Belfast.
Right.
This time, I think they've regained they felt like they were dropping off after they lost the belts. They lost matches to Aussie Open, lost to the Angel Cruisers, and they were doubting themselves. But now I think their momentum is kind of back. They have that push. They feel like, right, if there's any time for us to win back the belt now. And they had a great weekend, 2 wins, and they've earned the opportunity. So they're here. They're going to face the Rapture, and could it be a victory in the Europa? You never know.
You never know. We'll have to see what happens. So obviously OTT Haven of Monsters will be taking place Saturday, June 2nd in the Tivoli Theatre, and OTT Live in Belfast Sunday, June 3rd at the Europa Hotel in Belfast. Both events up. Tickets are available on eventbrite.ie. Now, before I let you go, I just have to ask on a personal note, how's things going with the one with the podcast thing on Low Blows? Because I'm a listener of that show and I really do enjoy it. Like, so how's things going with that in the meantime?
Yeah, it's going good. Yeah, we're doing more episodes this week. We're up to 4 now, and we 5 coming out on Tuesday. That's all there. That's all ready. And next one, we're gonna do a whole batch of them, and they're gonna be out within the next few weeks. And yeah, it's gonna be fantastic. And it's really going well. Nathan's kind of, I'm kind of seeing Nathan's transition. He's becoming more and more of a fan.
Cool. It's nice to see that he's getting more used to it, like, but as opposed to just seeing it, as opposed to, like, because it was interesting because I heard like the first episode in particular, and he's comparing it almost like everything like he's seeing at the moment, but now he's becoming a fan, so that's pretty cool. So you can check that out on the Low Blows Network as well, like with all the other podcasts available for that as well. So Butch, great. Thanks very much for that. We'll hope to have you on again soon. All the best and more next weekend with OTT. We'll hope to have you on again soon.
No matter. I'll see you there.
Yeah, we will indeed. See you soon. And that was Lee Calahane, who we spoke to from CCW about Revolution 6, and Daniel Butch Gannon, who we spoke about of all things OTT there. So, by God, it's really good. It's really some weekend when it comes to Irish wrestling, isn't it? From both sides of the country.
Yeah, it's incredible what we're going. The bank holiday weekend is just filled with wrestling. Obviously, we got OTT, we've got CCW, we've got Fight Factory on the Friday as well.
Indeed.
OTT again on the Sunday if you're around Belfast. It's fantastic, absolutely fantastic. We put a little poll up on Twitter, which if you haven't seen it yet, you should check it out. And we'd love to know where you're going to go for that bank holiday weekend in terms of wrestling. Are you going to go to CCW? Are you going to go to Fight Factory? Are you going to go to OTT? Either on the Saturday or Sunday? Let us know.
Indeed. In the meantime, there's actually pretty good wrestling happening this weekend as well. PWU Function 9, PW Goes Insane, is happening this Sunday, May 27th at the S13 in Belfast. Tickets are still available on tickettailor.com. Some really good matches have been announced in the last week.
Yeah, it's a great combo, isn't it?
Indeed. So Chris Renfrew will take on Luther Valentine in an Insane Rules match. Tim Steed will defend his PW heavyweight title against Tucker. Michael May, who was supposed to take on Phil Boyd for his Ulster title, is not going to happen now because Phil Boyd has not been cleared to compete in the match. Instead, he will defend his title against CTB the Third. Lionheart, and I'm not sure you've seen this now, Lionheart from ICW.
I did, I saw the promo.
Called out Justy.
Yeah, I saw the promo.
So it should be interesting to see how things turn out for that. There'll be tag champions versus tag champions as Team New School, LJ Cleary and Nathan Martin will take on Shaw Samuels and Jack Jester, aka Kinky Party. The ICW tag champions.
It's going to be a new kinky, what way did I say? A kinky New School party.
A kinky New School party.
It's going to be a kinky New School party happening.
Lauren LaRue will defend her PW women's title in a gauntlet match against Valkyrie, Katie Harvey, Debbie Cattell, Rhea O'Reilly, and ICW women's champion Viper. So that should be a really interesting match as well.
That's if Viper's cleared after what happened during the
I heard about that, yeah.
Yeah, because I told you.
Yeah, you know. Guest general manager.
Sorry.
That's
not even funny.
Yeah, that's why I'm not laughing. Guest General Manager Mark Dallas, ICW World Champion Stevie Boy Xavier, Rocky Star Nathan Burner also set to appear, and of course the after party will include a Q&A with Mark Dallas and ICW stars as well. So like anyone over there looking to ask questions to them, that's a perfect opportunity right there. So definitely an awesome event coming up. Now, as we mentioned, Fight Factory Pro Wrestling episode 5 #Irish Underground Style will take place next Friday in June 1st at the Sean O'Casey Centre at Eastwall in Dublin. Tickets are available on eventbrite.ie. Some matches announcing already include Paul Tracy to take on Be Cool, Justin to take on Valkyrie, which by the way, I should credit you for you're involved with the promo work for them, aren't you?
Yeah, I did.
If I may put yourself over.
Thank you. I shot and edited the Justy promo for it. It's gotten a good reaction, which I'm delighted to hear as well. Looking at working on a few other promos in the pipeline too, but I'm not going to give anything away yet. Cool.
Of course, More Than Hype will defend their Irish tag titles against the Enterprise, and it was just announced this week that there'll be a fatal four-way between Sean Guinness, Alexander Dean, Dmitry Krakovic and Sammy D. Krakovic. Is it Krakovic now? That's how you pronounce it, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, still, those were very interesting matches already, so it should be interesting cards.
That going to be class.
Absolutely. And of course, then next Saturday in 2 weeks, I should say, Loblo's Wrestling Parties will be back for doing a bit of a double case this time. Buskers in the Ball, where they're not only showing New Japan Dominion 2018, but they're also showing CM Punk versus Mick Jackson.
Which will be later on that night.
Will be later on that night in UFC. This will be happening on Saturday, June 9th. This is their first time they're ever doing a Saturday show, as far as I can see. Anyway, so they usually do a Sunday show. They haven't actually done a Saturday show before.
Yeah. I think they did the No Spoiler Mondays for the last New Japan show that they did. It was for Wrestle Kingdom. So, I think it's a great idea to do it the day after because I think Dominion's on the Friday, isn't it?
I think so.
Or is it on the Saturday morning?
I think Saturday morning.
I think it's actually on the Saturday morning as well. So, yeah, it's a great idea.
Tickets are available on eventbrite.ie, free of course for Lobos Network subscribers. Of course, there's no Temple Bar prices on booze. There'll be pool prizes and other entertainments at the after show, which will be running on until late. So that's all our previews. Now let's finish off our show as always with our yes nos.
Yes, no! Yes, no! Yes, no!
By the way, we should mention, we usually do our yes nos every week, so anyone who listens to this and is unfamiliar, just bear in mind this has nothing to do with the Repeal the 8 referendum whatsoever. We encourage everyone to vote.
I was just going to say, it's a quite appropriate section, isn't it, for this weekend?
But we want to mention, regardless of what your opinion is on this referendum, just votes. That's our stance on this.
Well, by the time this podcast comes out, the vote.
It will be, yeah. We have our personal opinions on it, but we prefer to keep it to ourselves in this case, and just encourage people to vote. That's our stance on this. Yeah. Whether you're for or against, just votes. End of story. But let's not get to that. Let's get on to the yes/no rumors concerning professional wrestling. So first of all, the All In show to either air on pay-per-view or stream live.
Stream live.
Now, it was brought up because Cody Rhodes...
That's not a yes/no, by the way. So, yes, stream live.
So, in other words, you think it'll happen? They'll stream it as well as...
I think they'd have to.
See,
I say almost every TV company has gotten onto them to get this show. So.
The thing is, Cody has gone on record saying that there's logistical issues over it so far. So,
what do you mean?
I mean, it's probably just... It takes a while to sort out, I suppose, so...
I think if you can live stream it, I think it'd be a lot easier to
Maybe.
do instead of doing pay-per-view.
We'll see what happens anyway.
Pay-per-view doesn't work anymore. So that's a dead industry, if you call it that, even.
It depends, yeah.
It only works for like boxing and I think and UFC. It doesn't work for pro wrestling anymore. Not since the introduction of, like, say, the Ring of Honor On Demand, the New Japan World,
WWE Network,
the WWE Network. TNA have their own one as well.
Yeah, I suppose you're right.
It doesn't work anymore for pro wrestling.
Well, the difference is, though, before I go on to the next one, the difference is, though, they're their own thing. So they're their own thing as opposed to a wrestling promotion. So maybe in that case it could be the difference, It's one thing.
I don't think so.
Toni Storm to join WWE.
Yes.
This is more so because she recently
lost on a UK-based contract, not on a full-time contract.
Okay. Well, this is mostly on the strength of her losing the Progress Women's title just recently. But there's no reason why she wouldn't be involved in the Mae Young Classic again, maybe? Or
I don't know. Like the rumors were that she is signing a UK type deal where she still can work with promotions, especially because there was a lot of concern if she did sign with WWE that she could not work with Stardom anymore. But she is still going to be able to work with Stardom. The only thing is, WWE will get first dibs on her in terms of her bookings whenever they.
Well, that would be the same as her working with WXW as well, because she's been women's champions there for a while as well. American Alpha to reunite as soon as next week. Now, let's say next week is the soonest, and later on in the future.
I don't see it as a reuniting, but maybe they will be, like, Jason Jordan will help.
So once off.
Could be like a once off.
As opposed to a permanent thing.
Possibly, yeah.
Okay, because if you feel it makes less sense because of the whole Jason Jordan thing, it will go to nothing then with Kurt Angle. It could be more intriguing, though, because imagine if they tease Chad Gable being the son after all.
Please, no.
The New Day...
If they're going to do that, they might as well get Maury in or something.
Yeah, maybe. The New Day to break up over the involvement of Money in the Bank.
No. Vince loves him too much. Not going to happen.
Yeah, too much of a moneymaker.
Yeah, too much. Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. I have interest. Who do you think will be involved in it?
Big E.
It makes more sense, doesn't it?
Big E.
Xavier Woods, I wouldn't count out either.
No, I wouldn't count any of them out, to be honest.
Big
and
E,
the stuff that Kofi could do in a ladder match as well.
Oh, yes.
You know, so.
Smackdown to be 3 hours went under Fox TV.
No.
Hope it doesn't. Is that by hope or by?
That's my own personal hope. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because it makes more sense when it's 2 hours, doesn't it? Like, and finally, WWE. Here's an interesting one. WWE not releasing anyone at the moment due to any releasee turning up at All In. Now, bear this in mind.
What? Say that again?
So bear this in mind, all right? Let me paint a picture for you. Last year.
Oh wait, hold on. So no, I'm just trying to structure this. So you're trying to say WWE won't release anyone right now because they fear that they'll show up on All In.
Exactly.
Is that within 90 days?
But well, if they find them like right
1st.
Well, the point is
September 1st, 3 months. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but
yeah.
Think of it this way though. They released all their guys last year. They did release the likes of Damien Sandow last year, shortly after WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they haven't released anyone after WrestleMania this year.
No.
At all. No one. Not that we recall anyway.
No.
Is it out of fear of this?
Possibly.
Makes perfect sense, doesn't it?
Possibly. Yeah. I think so. I think you're right.
Makes more sense.
Yeah.
No, someone else be a Cody. That makes sense, yeah. Anyway, that's all the time for we have this week on The Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guides, right here on 90.3 Near FM, on all good podcasting providers, and on the EMC Podcast Network. Make sure to check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/The Kickout Wrestling, or Instagram at The Kickout Wrestling, or Twitter at The Kickout Live. My Twitter at Dave Bandana, and Darah's at
Mars Bar.
I can tell by your tone in your voice, you miss me so much.
It's so good to have you back there.
It's
so good.
It's been strange, I have to say. It's the first time I had a 2-week break.
I know, right?
Ever.
Yeah.
Like we've been and we're not too far away. This is our 98th show. We're 2 weeks away from 100.
I know. But we have to do something special, won't we?
Well, we have 2 weeks to think about it.
Yeah, we do. You're right. Maybe longer if something happens.
We'll see what happens. But we'll be back next week in the meantime to cover all the latest from the world of pro wrestling. But until then, I've been Dave Cullen. He's been Daragh Maher. This has been The Kickouts, your weekly pro wrestling guides. Thank you so much for listening.